victory number 1 on the season. Victory number 1 in the past 20 games, actually, as Mayville State takes on the University of Minnesota Morris Cougars. We're down here in Morris, Minnesota, and should be an exciting game if it's anything like last year. Last year, Mayville State and Morris ended up playing, I believe, about a 19-14 game. Morris came up with a touchdown with about 30 seconds left in the ball game to defeat Mayville State. The year before, back in 2003, the last time the Comets won a game, opened the game in Mayville. The Comets came out and just put a whooping on the Cougars of Morris by a score of about 54-13, somewhere right around there. I'll find the exact score here in a minute. And last year, coming down to Morris, the Cougars returned the favor. Mayville State leading most of the game, and a couple long passes by the Cougars ended up in a touchdown, kind of a Hail Mary almost in the for the last pass, 30-40 yarder into the end zone, and Morris came up with a big touchdown to go ahead and beat Mayville State. So Comets want to come down here, as Coach Jeffrey said in some comments to me earlier in this week, back to the scene of the crime is kind of how they viewed it, because the Comets really did not feel that they played very well at all last year when they were down here. But completely different team for Mayville State, and in a lot of ways completely different team for Morris. Mayville State comes into this game with only 16 players, I believe, out of last year's roster that played at all for Mayville State, approximately 22 players in all that had been with the program previously. So pretty much 70% of the roster has been brand new for Mayville State. Glad we're going to be joined here today by Chuck Gremmels also. This is Brian Larson, and we're going to have Chuck Gremmels along for the ride also today. And how you doing, Chuck?
I'm doing great. Am I on the air here right now?
Of course you are on the air.
Good. How do we stand a chance in this football game today when I look at the Minnesota Morris roster and I see 2 Gremmelses in the lineup? And they'll both start. One's a linebacker, Steve Gremmels, who's also my son's namesake. And the other Gremmels is Sean Gremmels, who is, I think, a repeating all-conference linebacker. So we're up against it today, I think.
I thought we have 2 Gremmels on our side. I'd rather have their 2 Gremmels, because I know you and Jimmy. Jim Gremmels is our offensive line coach for Mayville State University, a longtime coach here. And, yes, Chuck Gremmels, the Hall of Famer for Mayville State University as a women's basketball coach. Speaking of which, as a women's basketball coach, do you really know anything about football? Because I don't, so I'm hoping you do.
Well, I'll tell you what. I really think the zone defense that we're going to play today, the 5-man zone defense with a full-court press, should be very effective, and that's what I know about football. Actually, I coached a lot of football and probably not very well, but I did it, and I enjoyed it, and I enjoy being with you here today, and I'm just surprised to see a couple Gremmels in the lineup. I knew they were being recruited here, and I knew they were all state players, but they played for Minnesota. No, they played for Glenwood. Minnewaska, I think is what they're called.
Yeah, not too far away from here, I believe. I drove by that high school after a wrong turn, I believe, I made earlier today. I was going down to see you in Wilmer there for a little while, Chuck.
Yeah.
So it's been an exciting ball day already. Yeah. There was a lot of rain around this area earlier today. As I'm coming up from towards the cities, driving through St. Cloud, it was just absolutely pouring. I called a buddy of mine here in Morris earlier today, and huge lightning bolts.
You got that right.
Those two, there was just a downpour, deluge of rain, and the field though looks pretty good. I know you were walking around there, Chuck. How's the field feel?
Field looks very good. It's soft, but it's very good, and there'll be some fast footing, and it's good. We drove through rain. I got my good friend from across the street where I live in Wilmer with me today, Jim Widener. He came along, and we had a lightning bolt that raised the car 3 feet off the ground on the highway. That's what we came through, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice day here, and getting to our football game this afternoon, we've got a formidable foe against Morris's defense because they have 9 returning starters back. I don't know if you mentioned that before I got on the air, but they really have a good defensive team. Their offense we know very little about, but we do know their defense is pretty strong, headed up by Sean Gremmels, linebacker, who last year caused us all kinds of consternations when we played against them here. Fortunately for the Comets today, we have our offensive line back intact. Everybody's healthy and ready to play except DJ Marcette, who once again got hurt this summer, I think, playing softball. When we get him back, he'll be a formidable foe, and possibly we'll have him back maybe even next week. But nevertheless, it looks like a good day for football. Derek Schlieve, former Comet, has his football team across the way here to watch the Comets this afternoon and support us. And
excellent. Yeah, we were commenting about the Pillager bus dropping everybody off. We couldn't figure out why they did that. So glad to see they're on the Comet side of the field. So we have quite a few fans over there.
Derek Schlieve was a good football player for Mayville State, and he brought his whole football team down today. They came off a loss last night. Derek said they didn't play very good and got beat, but they're here today supporting us, and obviously the Comets will have to have a good game today in order to beat this Morris team. Particularly our offense is going to have to be on the ball because the Morris defense is tough.
Yeah. Now, at least the one nice thing, though, is like you mentioned, we got a couple more offensive linemen back this week. Henry Ott will be starting at left tackle. He's a transfer student, and sounds like he has a chance to be a tremendous offensive lineman for Mayville State. Also, a new starter again this week for Mayville State. He's kind of an old starter, but Michael Picard is back this week. He had to miss last week's game for his brother's wedding, where he was best man.
Jeff Pickard.
Mike.
Who?
Mike Picard, our center.
Yeah, our offensive center last week,
so Michael, after missing last week's game, will be back. That'll be huge for the Comets also.
Very huge.
As last week, Mayville State ended up starting, I believe, 3 true freshmen, a sophomore that hadn't played for a year, and another sophomore that was a spot start of the year before. So should have a pretty big upgrade in terms of the not only just the talent where they're currently at, but the experience that they're going to have, game experience along the offensive line today too. So that's going to be a tremendous plus for the Comets. In terms of, now you talked about the Morris defense, on offense, that's going to be a very interesting group to see how it forms too, because Morris basically only returns one offensive starter. So they're going to have a new quarterback, new running back. I believe the person coming back from last year, Roman, did see some time quite a bit in their games, but they lost an All-America type of running back. I think Donnie Green, I thought, ran for like 1,600 yards.
Yeah, he was awesome last year.
So he just had a tremendous year, 1,528 yards and 18 touchdowns. The Comets, though, did a very good job. I think he only had 70, 80 yards against Mayville State last year, so we held him in check, but the rest of the year he just ran wild.
We had a great football game down here last year. Why we're playing back-to-back games at Morris, I haven't figured that one out. But last year down here, I think we lost on just about the last play of the game after pretty much dominating the game. And this year, of course, their quarterback that really killed us in that last series, if you remember, last year is gone. And they have a transfer from Southwest Minnesota State, which is a pretty good football program. He's transferred in here. We know very little about him other than he's a transfer, that he's coming in from Southwest State, and you alluded to the fact that their offense is suspect because we know very little about him, particularly with him engineering the team, and so we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. This is a game the Comets, I would say, much like the Twins needed a must-win last night against Cleveland and couldn't get a hit. This is kind of a must-win for the Comets to let these kids know that they can win and can find a way to win and then get off on a good track, because last week at Northern, we were just outmatched so bad against the Wolves, who, by the way, today are playing Augustana at Northern, and I don't think it would surprise you, and it certainly won't me, to see Augustana get beat by Northern, at least the way the Wolves played.
Yeah, although, I don't know, it should be an interesting game. The Augustana traditionally has a fairly decent football program out of the North Central Conference, and usually seems to mount a good quarterback, good receivers. So it should be it'll be interesting. A little better game than what we were able to give them last week.
It'll be interesting to see the outcome of that game, just to see how good Northern is, because if Northern can beat Augustana, as you just said, that will indicate that Northern's got a pretty good football team, which you and I thought anyway.
Yeah. All right, well, we are approximately 6 minutes away from kickoff, or at least the national anthem. So kickoff scheduled for 1 o'clock today. We are going to send it back to KMAV for a 2-minute timeout, come back with the starting lineups. All right, welcome back to Morris, Minnesota. And going to speak a little quietly as we're doing the national anthem in the background, but gives us a chance to give the starting lineups really quick here for Mayville State. On offense, Mayville State will go on offense first. Starting at one wide receiver will be Greg Godfrey. Starting at the other wide receiver, we expect Mitch Andrade, the senior, to be starting. At left tackle, Tim Wilson. Left guard, Cole Shapansky. At center is going to be Michael Picard. At right guard is going to be Ben Rose. And at right tackle, making his first start for the Comets, will be Henry Ott. The tight end, Jeff Schaefer, Mayville State's leading touchdown maker from last season. At One running back is going to be Nick Goulet, and we expect the freshman Dennis Danzel to start at the fullback. Quarterbacking Mayville State for the third consecutive year is going to be number 8, Jared Williamson, a senior from Eagle River, Alaska. Defensive lineup, Mayville State's going with a 4-4-3 defensive look this year. 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers, 3 defensive backs. Along the defensive line, we anticipate starting Anthony Kinkle, a senior, Brian Baca at defensive tackle, a freshman, Lenora Story, a sophomore, at defensive tackle, and at defensive end, Preston Doctor. At linebackers, Mike Letourneau, Louis Rodriguez, both new transfer students. Carson Story, an honorable mention All-America, or honorable mention All-Conference player for Mayville State last year. And Bill Esslinger, the freshman, true freshman from Griggs County Central, moves into the starting lineup after putting on a good second half last week, including scoring a touchdown for the Comets. And defense at the defensive back positions, at free safety, Ruben Maston. At cornerback, Rakeem Rowland. And at the other corner is two-time All-Pac-10 conference player. Now it's just going to be the Dakota Athletic Conference. Number 5, DeMarcus Rideau, the senior from Houston, Texas, is who already has had about 14 professional NFL scouts in to take a look at film on him this year. We expect the other 18 teams to be stopping by this year too, is at the other corner. So Mayville State has a little bit more experience on defense and offense, but should be interesting. Like to see some of the offensive receivers get going today. Actually, the other player that might start at receiver, mentioned Greg Godfrey and Mitch Andrade. The other player that we expect to see quite a bit at wide receiver is number 1, Chris Williams. Williams had been the backup quarterback till a little over a week ago. Last Thursday before the Northern game, they changed him from receiver, or from quarterback to receiver, and he came up with a couple of beautiful catches, I thought, Chuck.
Yeah, that was he was a prime receiver last week, and then in the last 3 minutes of the game at Northern, he did get in and get some reps at quarterback. Well, we're ready for the kickoff here. Number 3 from Minnesota Morris, that's Ricky Arterberry from Milton, North Dakota, by the way, kicks off, and the game is underway.
DeMarcus Rideau short hops it at the 10-yard line. He goes to the center return. He's going to take it to the far hash marks, cuts it inside the hash, spins around, goes out to the 25-yard line. Approximately a 15-yard return for Mayville State. Comets take over 1st and 10. Mayville State Morris won the coin toss. They elected to defer. Mayville State chose to accept the football and is moving from left to right. I believe that's probably north to south, though, but since apparently I don't know my directions when I'm driving, I think not exactly sure.
I think it's west to east, but anyway, you were close. You had a 50-50 chance of getting that right.
I think it's north to south. We'll have to double check. Williamson, swing pass out to the left side. That was out there for Godfrey. Godfrey picks up a quick 7 yards out to the 32-yard line. 2nd and 3 now for Mayville State. Quick drop there and quick sling out there by Williamson to Godfrey.
Leonard Matthias, Minnesota athlete, makes the tackle for Morris. It just seems to be the theme of every team. If you win the flip, you defer, which usually puts you on defense to start the game, but that's where Morris wants to be anyway, because that's their strength.
Goulet at tailback for Mayville State. 1 tight end, 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Hand off to the tailback, and he has nowhere to go. In fact, he's going to lose the yard. And as you mentioned, Chuck, coming into the game, the strength of this Morris team definitely is going to be their defense with those 9 returning players.
Sean Gremmels, 180-pound Glenwood, Minnesota linebacker from Minnewaska area school, comes up and makes the tackle. You're going to hear that name a lot today simply because he's the leading tackler from last year and caused us a lot of thistle in the game against them last year.
Goulet at tailback on 3rd and 5 for Mayville State. Williamson drops, pump fakes, center screen. That one is to the tailback, and he is going to be a yard shy of the 1st down. Just a simple drop-off there to Goulet, and unfortunately the Morris defense closed very quickly, and actually it's a little closer than I thought, but still going to be at least a football shy of a 1st down.
Morris read the screen pretty good. It was a screen to the left side of the field. We got a good tack pursuit by Morris, and then when they saw the pass to the outside and the screen pass, they closed quickly, as you indicated. All
right, Comets with 4th and just a football length. They are looking to go for it. Full house backfield. Hedden and Danzel in the backfield behind Goulet. Handoff to Danzel, straight up the middle, and he's got a 1st down. That's a 2-yard gain for Danzel, and what a gutsy call there by Coach Jeffrey. But, hey, as I already mentioned the streak, that's the last time we'll try and mention until the end of the game when I've broken it. But yeah, you got to do something.
You're on your own 30-yard line, and you're going to go for it right away at the beginning of the game. Like you said, apparently with the new offensive line intact this week, we had some confidence that we could get that half a yard. We did get it, and it's 1st and 10, Mayville State Comets on the 35-yard line.
And we'll have to figure out everybody. Look like 74 in there. Michael Johnson for Mayville State. Pass down the middle. That's Godfrey. He's got it inside the 30.
He may go.
20. He's got a chance.
He's got a chance.
Through a tackle. Touchdown. Mayville State University.
And no flags on the field.
6-yard touchdown pass. Godfrey on a post route, running down the middle. Got away from the defenders, and he takes it into the end zone. Mayville State on top. 6-0, 12:54 remaining in the first quarter.
Beautiful play. No flags on the play. 65-yard pass play. Probably one of the best plays we've seen out of the Comets in a couple years as we went the route and scored the touchdown, and the Comets go ahead 6-0. Now it's an extra point. Number 19 in there kicking the extra point for the Comets is Matt Buckaloo. Buckaloo to kick the extra point. Buckaloo is a East Grand Forks athlete coming off a great season at East Grand Forks last year. I think they might have been runner-up state champs. Are they maybe worse state champs?
They did win state champs.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. All right, Goulet to hold. Here's the snap. Goulet gets it down. The kick is up, and that is through the uprights. Good. Mayville State 7, University of Minnesota Morris 0. 12:54 remaining in the first quarter. Let's send it to KMAV for a 30-second timeout. Welcome back to Comets football, where Mayville State has its first lead of the 2005 season. After struggling last week against against Northern State University, Comets come out today, convert a 4th and 1 on their own 35-yard line, and then one play later actually, deep post pattern to Godfrey down the middle. He finds a wide open seam and just outraces everyone, Chuck.
Boy, I'll tell you what, against this good Morris defense, that's a good start to our football game this afternoon. We needed a confidence builder. We got no confidence building last week at Northern. That particular play there might just turn our season around and get us headed in the right direction. Here comes the kick.
And McBride kicks that one off. That's going to be taken at the 23 by Morris. Straight up the right hash mark, and he's going to be dropped at about the 39-yard line, so it's going to be good field position there for University of Minnesota Morris, and making the tackle, I believe, was, let's see.
Well, I'm looking at number 10 out there made the tackle. They're saying some other person, but number 10, Maston, made the tackle. And last week, Maston made a lot of tackles for us. There were a couple free tacklers in on there, but Maston made the initial contact, and pretty good run back for Minnesota Morris as they'll start on about the 38-yard line.
Mitzel and Tyler Green were the other two that were mentioned in the tackle. Offset I formation, fullback now goes slightly to his right, and big fumble on the field recovered by Mayville State University. And, are they going to say incomplete pass?
How can it be an incomplete pass?
Okay, somehow they are calling incomplete pass. Oh, man. Louis Rodriguez for Mayville State came on the blitz on the inside. He just shot through, got to the quarterback, and somehow apparently they were trying a shovel pass, I guess. But we have offside defense. Even if Mayville State would have recovered, obviously, I guess at this point, it's T. Klein. But, yeah, Chuck,
big break for Morris there. Rodriguez comes right on through. Well, it was a shuffle pass, and apparently they recognized that, did the officials, and called it incomplete. That's that little pass the quarterback just shuffles underhand to a wide receiver, a running back coming through. But we're offsides anyway, so Morris ends up 1st down and 5, and they move the ball now out to the 44-yard line.
Quarterback for Morris, number 12, that's Karshnick. He pitches it to the left side, and running back not going to gain anything. Several Comets over there on the tackle.
Yeah, Johnny Stillwell made the tackle. Johnny came up and just really leveled him, and that's almost a solo tackle, even though a couple other Comets came and piled on. But good hit, only a gain of probably 1 on that play. And
actually, I would say basically where they spotted it, I'd say no gain on the play.
Yeah, maybe no gain at all.
End up with 2nd down and 5 to go. I formation, Jordan Roman, the tailback. Back to pass, swings out right, knocked down Lenora Story. Good penetration there by the defensive tackle from Georgia. Came through and swatted that ball down. Incomplete, 3rd down and 5 now for Morris.
Great defensive start for the Comets. Wow, they're aggressive. We're attacking. Last week we just kind of laid back and let Northern take it to us. We're attacking Morris today. Maybe a little bit more confidence by the defense now that we came out and scored right on that first series. And the Comets right now are looking very bright. 3rd and 5.
Roman, the lone tailback, or the lone running back behind the quarterback, Karshnik. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Comets show blitz. They come out of it. Four linemen come down and pass through the middle. Incomplete. That was going intended there for Patrick Collins. Incomplete there, and I believe that was Maston that came over and put the hit on him just to make sure that if he did get a hand on it, that he'd probably jar it loose. So Morris is going to be forced to punt. 3 and out for Morris.
Ruben Maston last week made a number of tackles at Northern and Aberdeen, and today he's already made 2 or 3 for the Comets.
Punting is going to be Marcus Povers from Riga, Latvia. Back deep for Mayville State is going to be Godfrey, who already has Mayville State's touchdown. Gets the punt out of there, and that punt, wow, gets a little bit of wind behind it, sails into the end zone. That ends up being a 56-yard punt there for Povers, and Comets will take over 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line.
Well, good start to the football game. We got 11:55 left to go here in the opening quarter. Very seldom do we say Comets ahead 7-0 in the past couple of years, but we can say so now. And they've looked very sharp, very sharp. The Comets came down last night and stayed overnight in Morris to try to give us a little jump on it. This morning they woke up to a thunderstorm that was unbelievable. And now hopefully we're going to be the thunderstorm that's going to take this game away from Morris and give us a win.
All right, Mayville State lining up right as they come onto the line. No huddle. Hand off to the second back through. That is Goulet. Nowhere to go. He's going to be tackled for a loss back to the 18-yard line. 2nd down and 12 now for Mayville State.
Andrew Shea, Minneapolis kid from Washburn High School, came up and made the big hit for Morris there. Caused a 2-yard loss, and the Comets just simply didn't get off the ball that time with their front offensive line and drilled them for a 2-yard loss. He's 2nd down and 12. What the Comets have to do is come right back and strike again against Morris and let them know that that first touchdown was certainly something that was planned.
2nd and 12. 3 receivers to the left side. Looking for Schaefer down the right sideline, and that one is complete to the 35. He's still on his feet. To the 40, to the 41-yard line. That's a 23-yard gain there for Jeff Schaefer. And nice throw there by Williamson. He had to loft it over the linebacker, and Schaefer had a good beat on that one right away. Almost looked like he kind of gave a little push out of the way to the guy that was covering him and made a nice two-headed catch above his head.
Cougars linebacker Adam Turgeon makes the tackle, not after a big gain by the Comets. Jared Williamson starts out the game very sharp. Last week, you and I thought he was maybe just a step slow or an arm throw slow, but this week he looks sharp so far in the first 5-6 minutes of the game.
3 for 3 passing so far for Williams. 3-step drop, swings it out to the left side. That's Andrade out there. He's going to have close to first down yardage. Spins, and he is going to be awful close there as he gets it across the 50, almost to the 49 here of Morris. Probably going to be close enough to measure, but just a quick drop. It's good to see Andrade out there. He really didn't play last week. We had him in the starting lineup, but Andrade's had hamstring problems throughout training camp this year, and it is a first down. So Andrade's first catch of the year goes for 10 and a first down.
Leonard Mathias makes the tackle for Minnesota Morris. 3 other guys in on the tackle. Mathias was the key tackler there. Wow, Jared really... hopefully his dad's listening after being at Northern last week, and our kid's not looking very sharp. Jared really looks good this afternoon. That ball was just thrown on a rope. Beautiful pass.
Comets are working into a crosswind. 1 receiver right plus a slot. Williamson going deep downfield, intended out there for Godfrey. Can he catch up to it? No, it goes incomplete. Good. Just a little bit too into the middle of the field, and pretty good coverage over there, I thought, by the defensive back.
Quackenbush, 27, made a very, very good move on the receiver and prevented the ball from being caught by Schaefer that time. Excellent throw by Jared. Just good defensive coverage by Morris. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 10. We're 10:21 into this first quarter. In other words, there's 10:21 left in the first quarter. Comets have a 7-0 football lead.
Tyler Green split out to the left side. Mitch Andrade to the right. Tight end Schaefer on the right side. Goulet, the lone person in the backfield with Haddon on the other side. Slight delay there by Goulet. He takes it up the gut to the to the 44-yard line. That's a gain of 5. Brings up a 3rd down and 5 down for Mayville State.
Adam Turgeon makes the tackle. Front offensive line up on the right side there just blew a hole wide open for the running back. And the offensive line today looks a little bit sharper. Mike Pickard, the center, throwing his arms up in the air like, let's get going, you guys. It just looks like a sharp football team. I guess after watching Northern last week, anything could be better.
Two receivers left, one to the right. Play action pass. Williamson rolling to his right. He's going to keep it. And he rolls up, slices through two defenders. He's going to be close to a first down there as he had to dive forward there. Looked like he was going to come up well short, I thought, Chuck, but good solid move. And he is going to be about half a yard shy of a first down. He needs to get across the 39-yard line, closer between, or exactly, he needs to get between the 39 and 38, and he's just shy of that.
Brady Jansen makes the tackle for the Cougs. I think if Jared would have turned that ball straight up the field instead of hesitating, he'd have had that first down. There was a little hesitation on his part. I think he was trying to juke and jive. Should have just stuck his shoulders and helmet down, and he'd got that extra half a yard. Nevertheless, 4th and 1. If the offensive line blocks like they have so far, we should be able to get this first down.
Two tight end formation, full house backfield. Williamson going to call a timeout on the field, and we're going to call one here in the booth too. 8:58 remaining in the first quarter. Our score, Mayville State 7, University of Minnesota Morris 0. Let's take a 30-second timeout here on KMAV Radio.
In a goal line defense out here on the 40-yard line, Jared recognized it, and we probably called a play dive right off the guard there, and they just had all the whole stack. Jared did the best thing he possibly could do there and called a timeout, recognizing that the defense that Morris was in was going to prevent the play from being successful. So the timeout, well taken. He's talking to Coach Jeffries over there right now. He'll come in with a play that will counter that goal line defense if, in fact, Morris comes back out in that same 7-man front.
Interesting, or another interesting player in for Mayville State on that previous play, too, was Nathaniel Gill. He's a freshman. We list him as a linebacker out of Houston, but we lined up as tight end on the left side, and he is back there, too. In the backfield, we now have, that's Eric Hansen. He gets the ball, heads up straight up the middle. He's not going to make it. Excuse me, Devin Brzezinski. Devin Brzezinski, the bigger tailback for Mayville State, gets the handoff. The freshman from Drayton not able to get there. It's an excellent surge by University of Minnesota Morris. And the Morris defense comes up big, and they're going to take over 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line.
Big defensive play by the Cougars. We came out in a full backfield, but Morris was still in their 7-man front. And, boy, they just read the play. It was just a dive play off the left side. They stacked it up there. They just had more people in there to tackle, and we had the block. And first down goes to the Cougs. 1st and 10 Cougars. Ball's on their own 40-yard line.
And under center is Karshnick, the sophomore from Windham, Minnesota. Receiver going in motion to the left. Handoff, that's Roman. Had a little hole up the middle. We got a flag on the play as he's tackled at the 41-yard line. Looked pretty much in that area, of course, where you get that holding call.
Well, the umpire threw the flag, and that usually is an indication that it is holding exactly what it is. So the Comets catch a break here as the umpire caught one of the offensive linemen holding, and it'll be a 10-yard march off. It'll bring up 1st down and 20 for the Cougars and march them back to the 30-yard line, which gives less field position for them, and they were already sitting pretty good at the 40, but now they're back down to the 30, so it's a big penalty against the Cougs. Big break again for the Comets. We have to take advantage of these things. Last year we were ahead of the Cougars as well here at Morris, and then, as most of you people remember, we lost it basically on the last play of the game.
Quarterback, Karshnick under center. Again, receiver goes in motion from right to left. And he's hit from behind. There's a fumble on the field. And Mayville State's got a great chance to get that one. All right, Louis Rodriguez, the linebacker from Huntington Park, California, sliced through, hit the quarterback. And did you catch who recovered that one, Chuck?
Preston Doctor, number 3.
From Pahrump, Nevada.
Pahrump, Nevada. Preston Doctor recovers the football, number 3 for the Comets. And boy, are we in good operating field position here. We're on the 27-yard line, first down, 4 down country. Comets could really key off here and get a score, and we've got 8:23 left to go in the first quarter, a slow-moving first quarter, by the way. And as indicated, Comets have the lead 7-0.
Yeah, doesn't it seem like it should be later than 8:23?
Yeah.
Maybe it's 6. Who knows? All right. High back formation for Mayville State. Handoff to Goulet. He's pretty much hit right at the line of scrimmage. Struggles forward to the 25-yard line. He'll end up with a gain of about 2 yards on that one. But good builder, actually, by the linebacker.
Scott Ryland, Scott Ryland, good linebacker, senior veteran from Cold Spring, Minnesota, a Corey athlete, came up and really stopped that play from going. We do get a gain of 2 on it. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
And new left tackle in for Mayville State now, too. That's Kevin Lankoski. Tim Wilson had started as left tackle, but Lankoski is in there now. Drop back to pass for Williamson. He moves out to his left side, looking downfield. He's got some pressure. He's going to get dropped for a big sack inside the 35-yard line, back to the 36-yard line. So huge loss on that play for Mayville State, an 11-yard loss. Williamson tried to get out to his left side, throwing against his body. Just could not get turned around there, Chuck, and set his feet to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's surprising. Jared, being a veteran that he is, knows that he's getting attacked deep into his own territory there and should have thrown the ball away. He was outside the tackles, could have found a receiver and overthrown it and prevented that big loss. So big play for the Cougs. It'll be 3rd down and 18 now as the Comets find themselves up against it.
Two tight end formations, receivers left and right. Play action, dropping back to pass, looking downfield, going for Godfrey. He's got him open. Godfrey turns it upfield inside the 5, down to about the 2-yard line. First down for Mayville State, about a 34-yard gain. And what a nice throw there by Williamson.
Jared's just really on target today. That ball's going to be down on about the 2-yard line. The Comets will have 1st and goal on the 2-yard line. Jared Williamson just throwing the ball on the rope. This is how we knew he could play. After a couple years, 3 years of watching him at that position. Last week he just didn't have that zip. This week he's got it, and he's right on target. And now we got a penalty. We must have a bench penalty against the Comets. There's a flag for some reason. We'll have to listen for the official.
Yeah, with the whole host of players there. Either someone...
called an illegal participation. Apparently we had too many people in the huddle there, and therefore it's a penalty. And wow, you've got 1st and goal to go on the 2-yard line, and the ball is...
yeah, because so far we hadn't really got the running game on track, so it would have been nice to try and push it in from the...
It is only a 5-yard penalty, though, so that's helpful.
Yeah, back to the 7, 1st and goal now at the 7. Again, still 1st down. 2 receivers to the right. Williams, a 3-step drop, swings it out, and incomplete, just a little bit behind Williams there. That's Chris Williams, freshman from Houston, Texas. But I think he had his hands on it, Chuck.
Yeah, it was thrown a little bit behind him. I think he should have caught it anyway. If Jared would have let him just a little bit more, it would have been 6, but it was a little behind him. He reached behind him and fell off his hands. Should have been caught, though. You're right. Chris Williams should have had that one. Not a badly thrown football, just wasn't as precise as some of his other throws have been. So we got 2nd and 7. Actually, 2nd and goal.
Yep, of course, Chris Williams has been a receiver for Mayville State for 9 days. Back to pass is quick slant, and that one goes incomplete, I think.
Yeah.
He was looking for Williams again, but looks like Williams ran more deep to the end zone instead of just stopping at the goal line.
I think one of the defensive linemen might have deflected the ball as well. It just was ill thrown, went into the ground. He wasn't led at all on that one, so 2 passes in a row on slant plays that just haven't clicked. We've got a 3rd down and 7. I imagine if we don't get it, we're going to see if we've got a field goal kicker this year.
Yes, I think we do. I think we'll be all right there. And going in motion now is Godfrey. Play action to him. Pitches out to the left side. That is Goulet. He tries to get to the corner of the end zone. And it is touchdown, Mayville State University. Take the reverse to Godfrey, and then just a flip out there from the quarterback Williamson to Goulet, and Goulet was able to hit that corner there, Chuck.
Yeah, a little gadget play there that was on the goal line that Kelly called, as you indicated, a reverse to the right, and then just a quick pitch back to Goulet, and he had to beat one back there, the cornerback. He did so, went in the end zone, big touchdown for the Comets, 13-0. We didn't want to see a field goal. We want to see an extra point, and right now number 19 is out there, and that's Buckaloo.
So Goulet, after beating everybody through the corner of the end zone, now going to hold on the snap here. Snap's good, hold is down, kick is up, and that is through.
Good.
3 straight PATs for Mayville State this year. Very exciting. I got a note on that later. But Mayville State right now leads 14-0 in the first quarter. 6:13 remaining in the first quarter. We'll send it back to KMAV. Mayville State 14, Morris 0. Let's take a 30-second timeout. Welcome back to Comets football. We are in Morris, Minnesota, where the Comets are taking on the Cougars of the University of Minnesota Morris. And Mayville State leads in the first quarter 14-0. Mayville State 2 touchdowns, 1 a long touchdown from pass, Williamson to Greg Godfrey, and now Nick Goulet carries it in on a flip on a run to the left corner, and Mayville State 14-0 lead here. And Chuck, as we mentioned, it's been a while.
Oh yeah, misdirection play there on the goal line really had Morris pursuing the wrong person, and that allowed us to get in the end zone. Here goes the kick, and we're ready to get going here again.
McBride kicks the ball back inside the 15-yard line, and nice return here by Morris. The receivers got it over the 40, out to about the 46-yard line before he's taken down, but we do have a flag at the 37-yard line of Morris.
Zach Griffin makes the tackle for the Comets, preventing even a bigger play, but on about the 37-yard line, the official has thrown a flag. The referee's going to come out and give us an indication that it's holding or blocking from the back by Minnesota Morris, and so that will cause the play to be returned 10 yards at least, maybe 15. We'll see.
That was Adam Turgeon for Morris with a nice return there. Showed good speed, Chuck, especially, boy, when he bounced it outside there, he had a full head of steam going. Yeah,
Turgeon's had about 3 or 4 tackles already in this game, too, and then he returns kickoffs as well, so he must be one of their premier athletes.
All right, for Morris, they have 3 receivers to the left side, 1 receiver to the right with Karshnick under center, Roman behind him. Back to pass, drop pass to Roman on the right side, and he's got a couple blocks. He's to the 40, cuts it inside to the 45. He's crossed midfield down to the 46-yard line, 47-yard line of Mayville State. Screen pass that worked brilliantly for Morris, and they got Roman some running room.
Carson Story saves the touchdown. He was on his way. Carson Story came over on good pursuit angle, makes the tackle. Big play for the Cougars. Cougars needed something like that for their own confidence. Comet defense has to hold. We can't give anything back to Morris with the 14-0 lead. We have to maintain the momentum we've got. 5:42 left in the first quarter, in a long first quarter, we might add.
That one for approximately 24 yards. Carson swinging out to the left side. That ball intended there for Patrick Collins. Sails over his head, and looked like Collins was pretty wide open if he catches that. If it falls into his hands, he had a long way to go, Chuck.
Yeah, Carson Story was defending, but as you indicated, he was a long ways away from the receiver. The ball was badly overthrown. Had he caught it, there would have been a big gain on the play. So not very good coverage by the Comets. Poor throw by the quarterback of Morris, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 10. And the Cougars are in Comet territory.
Yeah, and you really don't want Preston Doctor, who's a stud middle linebacker, lined up on a wide receiver like that, but that's the mismatch they got.
Ooh.
And handoff tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Lenora Story gets in there. That's his 2nd big play for Mayville State today, as he drops Roman back at the 50-yard line for a 3-yard loss, 3rd and 13.
Story's just mishandling the offensive lineman in front of him. That time he just pushed him aside, stepped up, made the tackle. Story just too big a man for this particular offensive lineman that's blocking him. It's going to be 3rd down and 13 as we go under 5 minutes in the first quarter. Comets 14, Cougs nothing.
Tailback is Roman behind Karshnick. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right side. Tight end lined up on the left side too. Back to pass, hits the tight end over the middle, and he's going to be tackled after about a 1-yard gain. That's Mike Letourneau coming up to make the hit for Mayville State. Making the reception there was Jordan let's see. I missed that number there. Maybe it was number 2.
Anyway,
later. Yeah, it ends up being about a 1-yard gain, and that's going to force Morris to punt from their 48-yard line.
Letourneau makes the tackle for the Comets. Last week he made a lot of tackles for us. It's good to see him come up and make that stop. Punting situation for Morris, and Mayville probably won't come up with very good field position here.
Poppers beat one into the end zone last time he had this. He's got a pretty strong
fake
to the up back, and he's going to get tackled for a loss at the 1 yard, or for about a 1-yard loss. Schaefer in there making the tackle. Also had 36.
Kevin Grishewski. Yeah, Grishewski makes that tackle, and boy, were we alert on that. The ball was snapped to the short back on a fake punt, and boy, Grishewski was just laying right there and put the tabs on him. Big turnaround here for the Comets, as it looked like Morris was on the march there. Now the Comets have the ball back on the 50-yard line. 1st and 10, 4:11 to go here in the opening quarter of this game between the Mayville State Comets and the Minnesota Cougars.
Now both teams have tried something daring for Mayville State to work. For Morris, it didn't. Swing pass out to into the left flat there intended for Godfrey was complete. He's close to a 1st down at the 40. However, there is a flag on the field, and we're going to have an ineligible receiver downfield for Mayville State. So that's going to wipe out that gain and move it back probably at least 5, if not 10 yards.
Mike Johnson, Mayville State 74 anyway, whoever 74
Actually, we've got a number change there. That's Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel, 74, is tabbed for illegal receiver. He just fired out and got 5 yards downfield, and then a pass is thrown. It was a quick pass, well thrown again. Comets really have this short passing game going, those little quickies out to 8, 9 yards a crack. Doesn't look like the cornerbacks from Morris can cover those quick outs. Unfortunately, one of our offensive linemen gets downfield, which is almost an uncalled for type of penalty.
Yeah, especially on a pass play.
3-step quickie.
3-step drop, swings it out to the right side this time for Godfrey. Gets through one tackle. He's going to get across the 45-yard line to almost the 44-yard line of Morris. Picks up the what they lost on a penalty plus, and they are going to be, Comets are going to be about 5 yards shy of a first down. 10-yard gain on that play. Didn't think he was going to make it that far, Chuck, but boy, he's got quick feet.
You got that right. Distash. That was, Distash makes the tackle for Morris. That was the same play to this side of the field, which is our side of the field, as we just saw on the other side. So these little quickie outs, as we indicated earlier, the cornerbacks are not covering them for Morris, and we're just going to exploit that, I would imagine.
Receivers left and right for Mayville State. Offset I. Back to pass. Pump fake. Now center screen. That one's for Goulet. Spins on the tackle, and he's going to be just shy. Gain of about 4. Gets to the 40-yard line, but he needs to get across the 40. So the Comets are going to be a 3rd and 1 situation.
Adam Turgeon makes the tackle on a nifty little play. As you indicated, you can call it a middle screen. I guess that's as good as any. Just a quick pass over. One good thing about these quick passes, the offensive line, who last week got smothered by Northern, doesn't have to hold their blocks very long. 1-2 passes off, so you're not asking your offensive lineman on a 5 or 7-step drop back to hold for a long time or block for a long time. So this passing attack is very effective, and we're marching again.
Yeah, and there are 4 different positions on this offensive line that where the guys weren't playing last week. And Goulet, almost no blocking for him over on the right side there. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, and he didn't gain anything. He didn't lose anything, but it's going to be 4th and 1. And about 3 Cougars came over there and just lit them up. Led
by Scott Ryland, who is the defensive captain, it appears, for the Cougars. At least he's looking over at the defensive coordinator right now. In the past, in this 4th and short situation, the defensive coordinator for Minnesota Morris is called a 7-man front, or what we call a goal line defense, and it's tough to penetrate that half a yard or yard. In fact, the last time we tried to do this, they stuffed us, so we'll have to wait and see. Kelly Jeffrey's going to call a timeout and talk with Jared Williamson.
Well, 2:35 left in the first quarter. And, 2:35 left in the first quarter. Our score, Mayville State University 14, University of Minnesota Morris Cougars 0. Let's take a 30-second timeout here on KMAV Radio. Welcome back. 2:35 remaining in the first quarter. Mayville State facing a 4th and 1 from the Morris 40-yard line. Mayville State has to cross the 40 to about the 39-yard line for a first down. Mayville State has converted, at least 1 4th down attempt in today's ball game, and that one led directly to Mayville State's first touchdown. Again, Comets are up 14-0. Long touchdown pass. Williamson hit Greg Godfrey on a post play. Godfrey outran everybody to the end zone. That was approximately 66 yards. And then Nick Goulet, with 6:13 remaining in the first, went in scored from 7 yards out. All right, Mayville State changed up their look here. I formation, 1 receiver to the right side, 2 tight ends, a fullback. Hand off to Glay. He follows the fullback, Danzel. He's going to have enough for a first down. About a 2-yard gain here for Goulet, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for Mayville State. Big hole on the left side, Chuck.
Yeah, there was that time. That was a good call by Coach Jeffrey. Now, interestingly enough, Minnesota Morris didn't go to that 7-man front. They went to a 52. The 2 linebackers stunted into the gaps, but nevertheless, we were able to get enough of a surge there by the offensive line. And certainly the offensive line is making a difference today, getting their regulars back, because last week there was it was just a difficult task trying to block those Wolves from Northern.
Yeah, but the only player playing the same position is the right guard. That's Mike McDaniel. Otherwise, everybody else is pretty much new to that position from last week. Back to pass, Williamson. Heads Schaefer, throws behind him, incomplete. Schaefer found got by the linebackers, and what didn't they have? There were no defensive backs that came over, but Williamson just not able to get it to him.
That was a 5-step drop that time, so the offensive line had to block for a 4 count. Did so, gave Jared time. Receiver wide open, Schaefer. Jared just missed him. So one of the errant throws that Jared has had today after throwing some beautiful ones. That one was wide open, but we just didn't complete it.
2nd and 10 for Mayville State, and we have a whistle on the field. We have a flag, actually, down on the far side there. It's still 5 seconds on the 30-second clock.
I think he's going to call in offensive offside by our line. Offside, that's what it is.
Yep, you're right. That's pretty darn rare.
Well, offensive left tackle came up and lined up offsides, and the head linesman threw the flag and went over and told the left tackle, "You got to back up, son." And in the meantime, we march off 5 yards and put ourselves in a more precarious position, because now it's 2nd down and 15, and rather than the 2nd and 10. So look for Jared probably to pass on this play.
Yeah, so far today, Comets have been able to overcome the penalties that they've had so far. 1st and 2nd and 15. Throwing deep down the right field, intended for Godfrey. Godfrey grabs the ball inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. What a catch by Godfrey. He turned around, the defensive back didn't, and he pulled it off the back, basically, of that defensive back.
Yeah, the cornerback that time just did not even know when the ball was coming. One of the things the cornerback has to do is run with the receiver, but he has to know when the ball is being delivered. That time he didn't, and the receiver went up, grabbed the ball, and then the quarterback realized that he had it and then made the tackle. I'll tell you what, Godfrey is having a field day out here with his speed and quickness, and Jared's putting the ball right on the money.
All right, Mayville State, 1st down, 10 to go from the 13-yard line. I formation, Goulet and Danzel in the backfield. Handoff to Goulet. He's going to try and get to the outside on the left side, and got by the initial group there, gets it to the 10-yard line. That'll be a gain of 3 on the play. Brings up 2nd down and 7.
Matthias makes the tackle. We were one tackle block away from running that one into the end zone. Matthias was the only one that was there. If we could have knocked him down, we'd have had another score. So the Comets are doing some offensive things really, really good here, as they'll bring up 2nd down and 7, a gain of 3 on that play. Minute and 10 going to be underneath that when the ball is snapped here in the first quarter. Comets marching again, looking for their 3rd touchdown on the day in the first quarter.
Single setback, 2 tight ends, and Mayville State's going to burn, I believe, what is their 3rd timeout of the first half. Comets want to make sure that they got everything right here. 2nd and 7 from the 10-yard line. Mayville State calls a timeout with the Comets leading 14-0 over the Cougars here late in the first quarter. We'll send it to KMAV for a 30-second timeout. All right, welcome back here in Morris, Minnesota. Mayville State's 2nd football game of the year. Comets are up 14-0 and driving for more here. We have 1 minute exactly remaining in the first quarter, and the Comets are 10 yards from pay dirt. 2nd down and 7 for Mayville State. Walking away from Aberdeen last week, I was really discouraged after watching the contest and seeing how Northern dominated us, and I was really afraid today that our kids would come out somewhat flat after getting really hammered by Northern. I didn't know if we were going to gain a whole lot from that game. Apparently we corrected a lot of things up front. Jared's throwing the ball much sharper. Our receivers are on task today, running good routes, and we're on our way to our 3rd touchdown, if in fact we can get it in. We get 2nd down and 7. Ball is on the 10-yard line. Wing back to the right side. One person in the backfield behind Williamson. Handoff to Goulet. He tries to take it to the right side. He gets inside the 10 down to about the 8-yard line. Comets are going to have a 3rd down and 5 to go here, a long 5. Mayville State needs to get it to about the 3-yard line for a 1st down. So 3rd and long here for the Comets. Andrew Shea made the tackle. Minneapolis Washburn athletes made a couple tackles today. Pretty good seam initially there to get a couple yards, and then it was closed quickly by Shea. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 9, probably a passing situation. Don't expect anything other than the ball being thrown to Godfrey. 2 tight ends, wing to the right side, looking for Godfrey on the left side. He's got separation. The throw up there, dive, touchdown, Mayville State University. An out to the left side of the end zone. Godfrey laid out for that one, pulls it in, touchdown. Comets lead 20-0 over Morris here in the first quarter. That was just a beautiful pass and catch. That one will go on the cover of next week's probably lineup page. He just laid out, as you indicated, the ball was thrown perfectly. Only one person could catch it. The receiver was there. The Comets go ahead 20-0. Jared Williamson having a remarkable day along with Godfrey. Extra point time. All right, Goulet holding Buckaloo to kick. Snap a little low. Goulet gets it down. Buckaloo gets the kick up, and it is no good. No good. Wide to the right. So Mayville State, 18 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and the Comets lead the University of Minnesota Morris 20-0. We'll send it to KMAV for a 30-second timeout here on KMAV Radio.
Back here at Minnesota Morris, 18 seconds left to go in the first period. The Comets leading 20-0 after missing a extra point there on that last touchdown. Comets, nice lead, 18 seconds left to go. We're going to kick off, and interestingly enough, I think the wind will probably favor us a little bit better here in terms of where it's coming from for the second quarter. So Jared Williamson just spiraling the ball perfect today. A lot of Comet fans that are here are enjoying this because we have had a couple, 3 years of frustration. Here comes the kick.
Buckaloo puts his foot to the ball. That one's going to be way short. Just kind of lands out there at about the 35-yard line. One of the players for Morris dives on it. That kind of hit an open spot there, and I believe that was 87 making the recovery. That was Brady Jansen. Didn't list him as a defensive lineman.
Interestingly enough.
Oh, he's only 215. Okay, I was going to say, it doesn't look like the normal D lineman.
Interestingly enough, that's a free ball.
Yeah.
It's just hanging up in the air, and it hits the ground, and everybody's kind of looking around. 87, as you indicated, fell on the ball. Jansen, and fortunately Morris maintains possession. First and 10 on the 36-yard line, on their own 36-yard line. Comets need to maintain this momentum and keep it going.
That touchdown drive for Mayville State, 9 plays, 50 yards, 3 minutes, 53 seconds. And back to pass, swing pass to the right side, or excuse me, to the left side, complete. And quickly coming up there to make the tackle for Mayville State is Rakeem Brolin, as he wasted no time coming up and making the tackle on that swing pass that went behind the line of scrimmage. Almost looked like he was a lateral.
You know what? That was a lateral, and we have to look for that play again where he will catch that pass on a lateral and then throw a pass out of that. You can do that.
I thought he was going to throw it, honestly.
Yeah,
he was
that's right, but look for that to happen. First quarter comes to an end. Yes, we're going to say this correctly. Mayville State University Comets 20 and Minnesota Cougars nothing. And all we can hope for now is 3 more quarters of sustaining that same momentum.
All right, let's send it back to KMAV Radio for a 30-second timeout. All right, welcome back here to Cougar Field in Morris, Minnesota, where Mayville State University is leading the University of Minnesota Morris. And here, I think we're going to see that pass. Goes downfield, intercepted there by Masson for Mayville State. He's at the 50. He turns it back to the 30. Knocked down inside the 25-yard line. And Chuck, just what we talked about, as you mentioned, that they were setting up the pass. I didn't think they'd do it right away.
I didn't either, but we just indicated that the play before that was a lateral, and he could pass out of that. The very next play, they lateral it. He does throw the pass, but we're waiting for it. Ruben Maston, who I've been very impressed with, even against Northern State last week, just came across the field. It was a floater pass, by the way. It just kind of hung up there. Maston picks it off. Comets are in business again. This time we're down on the 23-yard line, and all cylinders are firing today for Mayville State, as every call we've made and everything we've done has been a good one. Coach Jeffrey, I'm looking across the field right now, is just ecstatic. The coaching staff is certainly in a situation where they can feel nothing but elation over what the Comets are doing, because they're playing like really outstanding football players today and team.
Grzeski, lone person in the backfield. 5-step drop there by Williamson. He's throwing it to the far sideline. That Godfrey. Is complete to Godfrey inside the 10-yard line.
Well, it's just
Okay, then again, they're bringing it back to the line of scrimmage. Boy, I thought he said it was complete out there, but must have came out or he caught it out of bounds. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 for Mayville State at the 23. And I was going to say the person that threw it, Matt Fragout, on that interception for Morris, they list him as a quarterback wide receiver, freshman from Becker. And, yeah, if he got rid of that ball just a little bit quicker, a little lower, this guy was wide open. So what a play by Maston.
Yeah, he really came across the field from free safety all the way across the field to pick that off. Here we go, 2nd down and 10. Great opportunity for the Comets.
Delay to Grzeski. He's going to have positive yardage, gets it to the 19-yard line. So Comets pick up about 4 yards on that play. Brings up a 3rd down and 6. Nice hard running there by Grzeski, but solid tackle there by the Morris player.
Andrew Shade, 39, came up, made the tackle. Gaping hole there. Any quickness at all in the back. He kind of grudged through there, whatever the word grudge means, but a quick hitter there, and he would have been in the end zone, but he allowed the Shea to come over and make the tackle. 3rd down and pretty long, about 6.5.
3 receivers to the right side. Green, Andrade, and Godfrey, who that pass was intended for. It looked like the defensive player had his hand all over Godfrey, holding his inside arm. No penalty flag, though. They're going to say third down. But, yeah, it looked like the guy was just yanking on, had a hook grab on Godfrey's arm there, but instead pass goes incomplete, and the Comets look like they're going to go for it. 4th and 6 to go from the 19-yard line. We need to get down to about the 13 for a first down.
We may have to go to an alternative receiver here. We're going to the kitchen too often with the same play, and sooner or later the Cougars are going to lay in the weeds and cut that off. Schaefer on the other side of the line was wide open that time. If Jared would have looked the other way, Schaefer was wide open.
And Williamson back to pass. Blitz coming. He sidesteps it, throws to the end zone, and just throws that one away into the pine trees behind the end zone. Just kind of ran out of time there. Had two receivers kind of going to the same area, but very good coverage there by Minnesota Morris. And Morris stems the tide there of what could have been, a death knell for them in this game. Mayville State could have turned that interception into a touchdown.
You're certainly right about the defensive coverage. Jared did the only thing he possibly could. All receivers that time were completely and totally covered. He just threw the ball, as you said, into the pine trees, which is way on the other side of the goal line. And Comets will rely on their defense now. Remember now, Minnesota Morris now has a little bit of wind in their face, which they didn't have the first quarter.
So, handoff. That's Roman going on the left side, trying to get around the corner, and he is quickly tackled. Roland comes up and gets him at the line of scrimmage. What great closing speed we saw there by Roland on that one.
Absolutely awesome. Roland really closed from his corner position there and forced a loss of one. The running back was just getting going, and Roland just grabbed him and threw him down. Some good tackling. I would guess this week in practice, although I'm not aware of it. This week in practice, there must have been some good tackling drills, because I'll tell you what, our kids are really grabbing on tight.
So quick stats from the first quarter. Mayville State 9 first downs to 1 for Morris, 22 yards rushing to 31 for Morris, 195 passing for Mayville State to a -2. So the Comets, 217 yards to 29, and we got a sack on that play.
48.
Mayville State drives the quarterback deep and drops him inside the 10-yard line.
Mayville, Portland, Clifford, Galesburg, Patriot in on that tackle. David Dick came through and just on a blitz from the left side came through untouched, I might add, and just really leveled the quarterback. So big loss on the play. In fact, it's going to bring up 3rd and 19, and the Cougars are way back on their own 10-yard line. But whatever happens, the Comets should come out of this with good field position if we can make a good stop on this 3rd down.
And another new player that we haven't seen this year for Mayville State, Michael Jordan, also into the ball game, another Portland native. And handoff deep in the end zone, and he's got a little room to run. He's going to get it out to about the 20. So back to the original line of scrimmage there. Gain of 10 on that play, and brings up 4th down and 10 now for Morris.
Preston Doctor on a blitz came right on through and missed the tackle. Otherwise, it would have been conceivably another loss for the Cougars, but he missed the tackle. That opened him up for about a 9 or 10-yard gain. 4th down, 10. Cougars have to punt, and the Comets should come out of this with pretty darn good field position. Greg Godfrey, the speedster, is deep for the Comets.
Cougars done a good job punting with the ball, a couple 50-yarders. This one is going to be really hung up in the air there, and that's going to be pretty good field position for Mayville State. That ends up going from the, let's say, the 20-yard line out to about the 44-yard line, or excuse me, the 46-yard line.
46, yeah.
And that's going to be about a 26-yard punt. So the wind really played havoc with that one, about a 24-yard difference from when he was going with the wind.
Yeah, as indicated, there is a little bit of a wind factor out here, and right now Mayville State has it at their back, so this is when we should make some hay, although we scored 20 points in that first quarter with Jared just throwing ropes.
Yeah, well, the one that really still impresses me is the diving catch Godfrey had in the end zone there, because that ball was right into the wind, and he put it right on the line. All right, Krzyzewski lined up a tailback, 2 tight ends for Mayville State receivers left and right. Handoff to Krzyzewski. He's met in the backfield and dropped. That's going to be a loss of about 2 on that play, and looks like number 43 would be Ryan Powell coming through with the play.
Yeah, there was nothing there. The line surge by the defensive Morris Cougars that time just blew us back about 2 yards, and that's where we ended up with a 2-yard loss. So that time the surge victory goes to the Minnesota Morris Cougars. The surge victory down south went to Hurricane Katrina.
All right, we've got tight end to the right side, Grzeski lined up, and three receivers to the left. Williamson back to pass, going downfield, and that one is caught by Godfrey, and now it comes out, incomplete. Incomplete. That ball got stripped. Looked like Godfrey had it, but coming through to strip it was Travis DeSache.
That really looked like a catch and almost a fumble, but apparently he didn't hold it long enough. But, boy, I'll tell you, there's another well-thrown football. And Godfrey really made what I thought was a good catch, went to the ground, and, of course, the ground must have caused the fumble. And so it's going to bring up third down and 12.
Yeah, the thing we got to mention about Godfrey, too, he's about the size of my 6-year-old daughter, Emma. She goes 5'7", 160 pounds. Okay, Emma's not quite that tall. But Godfrey is one of the smallest guys out on the football field. Swing pass to Grzeski on the right side, and he's going to get hit behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose about 2 yards, not to mention his helmet.
Andrew Shea messed up that play for Minnesota Morris as he came up and made the hit. Player down on the field for Minnesota, for the Mayville State team. And the officials are going to call a timeout. The ball player down on the field is getting up 36.
Yeah, Devin Grzeski, who caught the ball, had the helmet just ripped off his head. Don't know if he got a little bit of a twisted head or if the part of the helmet just kind of grazed his head too as it was coming off or what. I've got to think if someone forcefully rips your helmet off, that it probably hurts.
Robert Stevens is going to punt for the Comets. This is, I believe, his first punt of the afternoon. We're 10:50 here in the second quarter, 10:50 left. Mayville State leads the Minnesota Morris Cougars 20-0.
Stevens last week punted 12 times, averaged close to 37 yards for Mayville State. A lot of hang time. We'll see how he does with the breeze behind him. Here's the snap. A little bit of pressure, but gets it off in play time. High, booming kick. Makes the Morris the fumble on the field, and Mayville, there's a scramble here. We're not going to call this one. And Morris recovers it. I believe it was 21. Mathis came over the top of one of the Mayville State players, but I wonder if that was Kevin Pope, number 25, that was going to return it. He touched it inside the 15-yard line, and it just bounced right off his chest pad. And there was a scramble down there. One of the Comets had a shot at it, just slid by him.
Yeah, I think number 21 for the Comets, I think that's Tyler Green, had a chance to wrap his body around it. Instead, he reached out for it, and it got away from him, and the Cougars fell on it. So Minnesota Morris, very fortunate there. Comets had a good chance there to have the football. Instead, the Cougars have it first and 10. Ball is on the Minnesota Morris 14-yard line.
High formation, now the fullback. Collins goes in motion to the right. Back to pass to the quarterback. Looking downfield. He's got time. He's running out of time. Spins out of one tackle. Rolls to his left. He's got a person right. He's got a person open, complete for a first down and more. Making the catch out there was Ryan Stoic. Gets it out to the 33-yard line. Ends up being a gain of 19 on the play. And what athleticism, I thought, shown there by Karshnick.
DeMarcus Rideau, the corner over on this side, kept the play from going any further. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but they're really throwing the ball away from Rideau today. They've been throwing the ball over on the other side against Rowland. Rowland's been doing his job. Marcus Rideau is an all-conference player, and they're throwing away from him.
Charles Williams now in the ball game, playing right corner or left corner here for Mayville State. Collins going in motion to the left, and pass underneath, caught. Another first down. Pass for Patrick Mahoney. Just caught it, hit a seam right down the middle. Picks up 12 on the play, out to the 46-yard line, and that's a first and 10 here for Morris.
Mayville Comet Ruben Maston came up and made the tackle. He's playing what looks like the free safety position for Mayville State, and he came up and made the tackle, but not till after Minnesota Morris makes 10 yards. Another first down. The ball's up to the 46-yard line of the Cougars.
Karsich starting to get hot here a little bit. Collins goes in motion to the right. Three receivers right, one to the left. Throws down a seam, and actually we've got incomplete pass there. Closest one to it was for Mayville State was Jeff King. No receiver, so not exactly sure what Karsich was throwing.
Well, Preston Doctor
just didn't stop.
Doctor or Anthony Kinkle, one of the two, got their hand on it and deflected it, so the pass was not so well ill-thrown as it was blocked, or a hand got up, and that's why it looked like it was kind of fluttering and it didn't go anywhere. So Mayville State defensive line got their arms up on that play and deflected the ball. It'll be second and 10.
For Morris, three receivers right, one to the left. Roman behind Karstich. Back to pass, and Rodriguez coming through there for Mayville State, and he doesn't get the quarterback. Karstich still on his feet across the 50 to about the 47-yard line. He's going to be about 3 yards shy of a first down, and Carthage, all of a sudden, yeah, he's showing that he's, or Carsonek, showing that he's got some pretty good movement out there.
A couple missed tackles, which we were really guilty of a lot last week against Northern State. A couple missed tackles there. Reuben Maston, once again, some free safety, comes up and makes the tackle. When we start talking about free safeties making tackles again for you people out there, that's not good because usually that's 10 or 15 yards down the field.
Unless you're Chris Cleveland. Just thinking of the pass. And here we go. And pass intercepted by Mayville State. Letourneau. Steph jumps the route there, and he comes up with that interception. Mayville State's going to take over at their own 48-yard line.
Marvelous interception by Mike Letourneau, who last week got my defensive award for player of the game, he and Maston. And Letourneau just came up and picked that one off. Not an easy pass to pick off. He had to lean way out in front to get it down. Minnesota Morris's march in their best drive of the day kind of goes awry, and the Comets take over. So we're counterbacking everything that Morris does. We're coming back and stopping them. And boy, this is a big thing in favor of Mayville State today. We're just not letting Morris do anything.
Goulet back in the game at tailback for Mayville State. Back to passes Williamson. Looking downfield, he's going to run with it now. Scrambles, positive yardage so far. Close to the 40-yard line, gets tackled close to that first down marker. It looks like he's beyond it. And Comets should have a 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line of Morris.
Jared playing very smart today. 46 came over and made the tackle. That's Scott Ryland. At that time, I would guess 2 years ago, probably Jared would have thrown that ball downfield. That time he saw there was absolutely nobody open. Good defensive secondary coverage, particularly on Godfrey, who they're going to probably start double teaming. And so Jared just took off running with the football and got a 1st down. 1st and 10, Comets on the 42-yard line.
Comets, 2 tight ends, receivers left and right. Back to pass, intended for Andrade. He's got that one, and he is going to get tackled at about the 36-yard line. Gain of about 5, brings up a 2nd down and 5.
A.J. Cox makes the tackle. And as I indicated earlier, we're going to have to go to some alternate receivers. We can't just be throwing the ball every time to Godfrey. That time Andrade's wide open. Schaefer's open. They're covering Godfrey so closely now that we're going to have to look for alternative receivers. And now Godfrey comes out of the game.
I formation for Mayville State. Danzel in front of Goulet. Handoff to Goulet. Shifts through a couple, and he's still on his feet. He's going to be close to a 1st down there. Nice run there by Goulet. Got stood up early on, but just was able to bounce off a couple tacklers and gets awful close to a 1st down.
Andrew Shea comes up and makes the tackle for the Cougars, just short of the 1st down. In fact, it's close enough for a measurement, so the officials are going to measure to see if, in fact, this is a 1st down. The ball is on now the 31-yard line as the Mayville State Comets start to use up some of the clock. They took out Godfrey that time, and it almost was a hint that we'd be running the football because we had 2 double tights in there and only 1 wide out. And we smashed off the right side and got a 1st down. So the Comets will get a 1st down out of this with 8:11 to go in the 2nd quarter. Leading, 20-0.
Mayville State 1st and 10 now at the 31-yard line of Morris. Again, starting to put together a drive. This one started with the interception by Mike Letourneau at midfield. Mayville State also turned around a attempted 4th down fake punt from Morris into a touchdown for Mayville State also. So Comets coming up with a whole host of big plays, things that we haven't seen from the Mayville State team for quite a while. Fun to see it today. Handoff to the tailback, and he gets nowhere as he's met in the backfield. If there's one complaint about the Comets game today so far, it's really been their run offense, and Mayville State just has not been able to get anything going on the ground.
Ryan Powell made the tackle along with a host of other Cougars to prevent no gain on that play. 2nd and 10, and Brian, you hit the nail on the head there. Jared's quick out passes to Godfrey have been the key, and we really haven't done a whole lot on the ground. This looks like a passing situation with 3 wide receivers.
2nd and 10 for Mayville State. Williamson back to pass, deep drop, looking downfield, steps into the pocket. Now he's going to run with it. Shifty gets to the outside, into the 15, into the 10. 1st down, Mayville State. Nice gain there by Williamson. Picks up about 21 yards on that, and he really broke down one of those defensive players, gave him a little shake to the inside. The guy buckled his knees, and Williamson able to hit the outside and gets around him for another 10 yards or so.
That's the best run I've seen Jared have in 3 years. For Dad out there, way out in Oklahoma, or He just drove right off the right side. When he knew he was going to get hit, he put his head down and drove for a couple more yards. Great play by Jared Williamson.
I formation for Mayville State, 2 tight ends. One receiver to the right side is Andrade. Handoff to Goulet going up the middle. He's going to get it to about the 10-yard line. That ball was snapped at approximately the 12. So going to have, actually I'd say it was probably snapped closer to the 11. We'll see a gain of 1 on the play.
Ryan Powell in on that tackle along with Travis Destay for Morris, keeping it a very short game. Once again, the Comets not doing a whole lot on the ground, except now Jared Williamson has put a few yards up for himself as he's come out of the sprint out formation, found no receivers open as the defensive coverage is looking good, and has run for 30 or 40 yards here in this quarter.
Okay, 2nd and 9 for Mayville State from the 11-yard line. Gain of 1 on that last play. Play action, Williamson rolling out to his right, and he's going to keep it. This one's going to the corner of the end zone. He's going to get inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line, close to a first down, and that really looked like a designed run. If it wasn't a designed run, he called that run pretty quick.
Sean Gremmels came up to make the tackle very close to the goal line. They're going to say it's probably on about the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
Jared right now has got an esteemed amount of confidence as he starts to use his legs. That, I think, might have been a naked bootleg, as you've indicated. I think it was predetermined.
And actually, the Comets have it at the 3-yard line.
3 yards.
First down. At the 3, they've got 1 yard to go for a first down. Full house backfield with Hedden in there along with Gansel. Hand off to Goulet following those two. Tries to get to the left side, and he's going to be shy of the end zone. Tackled at about the 2. It might be enough, Chuck, for a first down, though.
Yeah, that could be. 87 makes the tackle along with a host of others. But Brady Jansen, I usually try to pick out the tackler who makes that initial contact, and all the other guys that come in and jump in are certainly get credit for assist. But the initial tackle is the person I usually point out. We got a cloud bank building up in the west, which you think is the north.
Okay.
And that's east? That's east. So this is east to west? Oh, okay.
Dang it.
Doggone it, Brian.
We have
Brian Curtis.
Brian Curtis, the SID here. Some
This
of you
is
folks
north
back in
and
Mayville might
south.
have heard it. Just confirmed something Chuck said earlier I disagreed with. Very disappointing.
Yeah, north
Very
and
disappointing
south.
that you'd be right, Chuck, but that's probably not the first.
Okay, 5:58 to go here in the second quarter, and the indication is that it's short by some inches, I presume.
Yeah, Comets are going to go for it, it looks like right now at least. 4th down, very short to go. Comets, 3 players in the backfield. That's going to be Hedden, Danzel with Krzyzewski at the tailback spot, lining up behind Williamson. On the line is going to be Gill and Schaefer.
He's not going to. Oh, second effort.
And Swift. They're going to mark him, at an interesting spot. This is going to be awfully close. Great move by Grzyzewski if he gets there. He was stacked up behind the line and spun to his left, Chuck. And what a great effort.
Initially, he was hit for maybe a half a yard loss, spun and went inside, and I think it's really going to be close, but we'll wait and see. They marked it on the 2-yard line.
Yeah. Somehow I think I don't know, maybe his knee hit when he spun or something, but it looked like they marked it where his knee was instead of where the ball was.
It's going to be short, I think.
And what a great defensive stop there by the University of Minnesota Morris. They prevent Mayville State putting up more points on the board. Again, Comets lead here, 5:40 remaining in the first half. Comets 20, Morris 0. And great, the defense here by Morris has just been spectacular against the run pretty much all day.
Yeah, that opportunity that goes awry for the Comets is really a missed chance because we had two bangs inside to go about a half a yard and didn't make it, and that would have been first and goal on the half-yard line or 1-yard line. And this might give the Cougars some momentum. Who knows? But, boy, I'll tell you one thing. They're stacked back in the end zone.
All right, back at about their own 2-yard line. Roman in the backfield. Quick passer, throwing it down the right sideline. That one's complete, and the receiver is off against Rideau. Rideau pulls him out just shy of the 50-yard line. Boy, just a go route down the right sideline to Ryan Stoic. He picks it up over the top of Rideau and gets it out to the 48-yard line. Talk about changing field position. 46-yard gain for Morris.
What a game-changing momentum kind of a thing for Morris, from being down on the 1-yard line to being up on the 50-yard line. And this gives the Cougars certainly an opportunity and a chance to get themselves back in the football game when, in fact, we almost put a nail in the coffin. 5:32 to go in the half.
All right, I formation. Collins going in motion to the left. And delay, and oh boy, smacked in the backfield is Roman. That's going to be a loss back to about the 44-yard line. And
Brian Baca.
What a play.
Brian Baca just took his defensive man in front of him and blew him into the ocean. Went up and forced a 4-yard loss for Minnesota Morris. It'll be 2nd down and 14. Ball now back on the 43. Boy, have the Mayville State Comets come up with big plays when they needed them after Minnesota Morris appeared to have some momentum.
All right, 44-yard line here. 2nd down, back to pass is Karsnick. Not anyone there. He's moving to run around with it, and he's just keeping it. He's going to drop for a big loss. Baca ends up being the guy to come and take him down finally, back at the 38-yard line. So, again, another loss of about 6 on that play.
Probably
3rd down and long to go.
Probably Jody Ford's secondary coverage there was immaculate as the quarterback rolled around back there for a count of 10 at least and found absolutely nobody open, and in fact finally just went down on the ground, and Baca of course went up and touched him. But good defensive secondary coverage by Rideau, by the whole secondary there for the Comets. Ruben Maston, who's been kind of the leader back there. Comets looking very, very strong on defense today.
Shotgun formation, first time we've seen this from Morris. They have 3rd down and 21 to go, and we have whistles on the field.
Might have been delayed game.
Timeout taken by University of Minnesota Morris. So with the timeout on the field, we'll take one here also. Our score, Mayville State University 20, Minnesota Morris 0, 4:07 remaining in the first half. We'll send it to KMAV for a 30-second timeout. Welcome back here to Morris, where Mayville State off to a great start. Second quarter has been a little stalemate between the two teams. But the Comets have a 20-0 lead. Last time the Comets scored more than 20 points was, a long, long time ago last year. And we'll try and figure that out. I think it was against Jamestown last year was the last time Mayville State had at least 20 points in a ball game. So Comets doing a nice job here, putting up points, and now the defense is coming through and doing a spectacular job there also. Yeah, last time Mayville State scored 20 points was September 25th when they put 22 up on Jamestown College in a 46-22 loss to the Jimmies. All right, we have a 3rd down and 21 to go here for the University of Minnesota Morris in shotgun formation, 2 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right, 1 tight end to the left. Back to pass, quick throw downfield, and that one goes incomplete on the intended for Stoic there, who had that 46-yard gain just a couple plays earlier. DeMarcus Rideau this time was running step for step with him, making sure to not let Stoic get away. And pass was just a little bit to the inside of the field there, Chuck.
Yeah, DeMarcus Rideau had good coverage, good leverage that time. And the quarterback actually, it's a good thing he overthrew it, or Rideau would have picked it off. We now have a punting situation with number 20, is that number 13 in there punting for? That's Marcus Pavers. Punting for Minnesota Morris.
Just fun to say. And here's the punt. High, spin and wobbly thing. Godfrey does pick it up at his 15. He's trying to go to the far side of the field, picked up a couple blocks, trying to get around the corner, and picks up another block there, gets knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Long way to go for a 10-yard return, but ended up picking up a couple nice blocks out there, Chuck.
Jeff Schaefer threw a beautiful block for Mayville State. There were a couple other zones, but I particularly picked up Schaefer's. He just annihilated one of the Cougars out there. And 47-yard punt, a very ugly punt, we might add, wobbly but it got the job done.
Yeah, very effective.
And very, as you indicated, productive for them. And the Comets are going to take over, but they still have that defensive edge, 20-0. They've bent a little today, but they just haven't broken the Comets, and they've been able to keep this 20-0 lead.
With 4:07 remaining in the game in stat-wise, Mayville State's only given up 78 yards. Pass straight down the field, and 10 for Schaefer. One-handed catch across midfield. Pulls it in at the 44-yard line of Minnesota Morris. What a spectacular catch there by the sophomore tight end for Mayville State. 30-yard gain for the Comets.
Okay, at Comet Club next Friday. I don't know where it's at. We need to have that one on film for everybody who's not here to see. That was a spectacular type of catch. And so the receivers for the Comets today have done a great job, and Jared's laid the ball in there pretty doggone good too.
Yeah, certainly I think Schaefer's, is the best pass catching tight end in the conference. and he keeps coming up with things like that. He's going to get recognized pretty quick. Two tight ends, offset eye, back to pass. Williamson steps up into the pocket, swings it up to the right side, and headed for Schaefer. Had him open there, but Williamson kind of ran out of time as he stepped into that pocket and just shot it a little too close to the sideline. Incomplete.
Pretty good blocking by the offensive line. Got to give him some credit that time. Jared had a 5-step drop back, had time to throw. The offensive line, without having to hold, as the Vikings do on almost every play for Minnesota. The Comets offensive line not guilty of holding on that play. Gave Jared time, just threw the ball in front. It'll bring up second down and 10.
Goulet in the backfield now behind Williamson. Two receivers to the left side, tight end to the right. And center screen for Goulet. He's got a couple blockers out there. He's got a first down. Pop, oh boy, almost pops out of there. Gets it to the 30-yard line. Gain of 15 on the play. And that's going to be a 1st and 10 for Mayville State. I thought he was going to pull his foot out of that last tackle.
Yes.
It would have been interesting if he had.
Goulet, who couldn't get out of the blocks too much last week against Northern State's very sticky defense today, has been able to break a few tackles. That was a very good run after the catch. And those short passes seem to be our forte today. And that was just a good one again that got us some big yardage. And the good thing about this is the time and the clock is running, and we have a 20-0 lead, and we're marching, and Morris can't score as long as we got the football.
Williamson on Andrade, split out right. Williamson back to pass, looking downfield, intended out there for Andrade, but very good coverage out there by the Morris team, and we have a flag right down at
by the quarterback there. He might call roughing the passer on this play. We'll see what the referee's going to do. He's going to call holding against Mayville State. It was either holding against Mayville State or roughing the passer. I didn't know which one, and they're going to call holding against the Comets.
You got us all excited?
You know, I just said on the play before, I said the Comets haven't been holding but the Minnesota Vikings, and I jinxed us again because then we come back and on the very next play are caught for a 10-yard penalty, which is holding.
Yeah, so please don't discuss turnovers or injuries.
I'm not going to bring it up again. It'll be 1st and 20. But if the Comets can get out of here with a shutout and 20 points at the half, I think there's going to be a lot of people very satisfied. I think Jody Ford had an awfully good defensive plan today and have stopped an awful lot of things that Minnesota Morris has tried to do, without any game film, I might add.
All right, two receivers to the right, one to the left. Goulet, lone person in the backfield. Williamson back to pass, swings it out to Schaefer, and Schaefer just not able to catch that one. Kind of caught it as he was backpedaling, and should have had that one, Chuck, but just kind of fell right through his hands.
Makes a one-handed, spectacular NFL type of catch, and that one was thrown right to him, and he dropped it. So that happens, I guess. You concentrate a little bit more maybe on the tougher passes, and on that one he thought it was just going to be an easy catch, and he dropped it. Second down, 20, stops the clock with 2:30 to go here before halftime.
Comets bringing their fullback, Danzel, slightly lined up offset to the right side with Goulet alongside him. Williamson back to pass. Underneath, intend there for Goulet. He's got it at the 35, and he's going to be tackled at the 32. So he's going to be about gain at 8 on the play, and he's going to be 2 yards shy of the original sticks, and 3rd and 12 now for Mayville State.
Scott Ryland with the big hit, got some help from Sean Gremmels on that play, and they limited it to a not as big a gain as possibly could have been. We're going to bring up 3rd and 12. I guess a gain of about 8 on that play. Ball's on the 32-yard line. The way Coach Jeffries coaches, I think we're in 4-down country here, and I say that in a positive manner.
3rd and 12 for Mayville State. Goulet, the lone person in the backfield. Two tight ends plus a wing on the right side. That's Gill. One receiver, Godfrey, to the left side, and he's singled out there. Williamson going to go to the end zone for Godfrey, and good defensive coverage there. It looked like Godfrey wanted to go more into the center of the field. Williamson kind of threw it towards the sideline, so it goes incomplete, but pretty good coverage out there, I thought, by the defensive back.
Well, it almost looked like Quackenbush might have had a hand on Godfrey, too, there a little bit, but he ran a post pattern, did Godfrey, and Jared threw the ball to the flag or to the out position, and so the pass was destined not to be complete anyway. Punting situation for Mayville State.
Always hate to see this from the 32-yard line, having to punt it. Just not a good place to punt from.
I just thought we were in 4-down country, but maybe not.
Stevens, plenty of time. Boots it high and over and under it, and knocking it back is for the Comets. Back there is Ruben Maston. Yeah, high punt gave Baston plenty of time to get under it, and he hit it at about the 5-yard line or so and knocked it back into the field. So excellent job there, both on punting it. Nice touch by Steven.
Yeah. Good play, because had the ball gone into the end zone, it had been brought out to the 20, and that would have been about a 12-yard punt overall, and that wouldn't, that's not going to get the job done. 1:30 left to go here before halftime. And defensively now the Comets have to be somewhat in a prevent. We don't want anything to happen big here now for Morris in this last 1:30.
1st and 9 for Morris at their own 1st and 10 at their own 9-yard line. Handoff, Roman gets into the open field, cuts through another tackle. He's going to have a first down and more. Gets it out to the 24-yard line, and that's going to be a 1st and 10 for Morris. Again, nice run by Roman as he busted through a couple tackles there.
Rakeem Rowland, cornerback, came over and made the tackle, and made it a firm tackle and got that running back down in a hurry. But it's a first down. Clock runs with 1:14:13 counting going down.
Out to the 23-yard line, 14-yard gain there. Collins going in motion to the left. And they hand off to Roman, and he goes that way. But Anthony Kinkle is there, stands him up. Looks like there's a scramble for the ball. Oh, actually, he just kept moving around. No whistles early on. Looked like he was stopped there a long time, so it looked like there was a scramble. But Anthony Kinkle comes up, makes the initial hit behind the line of scrimmage back to about the 20-yard line, lots of 3. And we have a timeout on the field taken by Morris. 49 seconds left.
Preston Doctor also in on that tackle with 49 seconds left. I'm surprised Morris isn't trying to do something big here. 2 running plays in a row have gained them a -2 yards. Here as we get close to the end of the first half, you would think maybe he'd be going upstairs.
Well, the previous running play gained 14 on it, though, and looked like he got the running back Roman out into a little bit of space there, too, so I'm sure they're just trying to string it along and hopefully have him try and hit the home run there.
And we might be playing a little soft up in the linebacker and quarterback positions here this time, too, knowing that we don't want to give up the big play. I mean, we'll give them 14 yards, but we don't want to give them any more than that.
So, as you mentioned, 49 seconds left in the first half. A good half here for Mayville State. The most points the Comets have scored in a half since probably sometime during 2003.
Herbert Hoover.
The most points we had was 22.
Herbert Hoover was president.
That was a while ago.
Oh, that was
either way, it was way too long ago. So good to see. But the other thing is, the last time the Comets. Well, I'm not going to say anything about what the score is at this point.
Now they look like they're in a passing formation. They got 5 wideouts, or at least 4.
3 to the right side. Now Collins going in motion. Now he comes back to the right side. Quarterback drops back to pass. Deep drop. Steps up, now rolling right, looking downfield, and he's just going to dump it out there. He actually had the receiver open at the near sideline. It looked like he had Collins wide open at about the 30, but was looking to go farther downfield, so now we have 3rd and long, 41 seconds. Again, Comets burned all the timeouts in the first quarter as they were trying to score, get their touchdowns on the board, so Mayville State cannot stop the clock. So if you were wondering why Mayville State may or may not have been using their timeouts, they've used them. And actually used them to, in good stead to get the lead that they have.
Deep receivers that time were well covered. As you indicated, the short man was open, but the deep receivers were well covered by the Comets secondary.
Yeah, with the lack of timeouts, you have to think Morris is running on this one, and they do. Handoff. He's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Lenore Story comes up with a play. Carson Story came through on the blitz, and I think he actually made Roman have to stop there a little bit. Lenore Story come through with the tackle for a loss on that play. Knocks him back to the 19-yard line.
Not going to have another snap here if Morris doesn't want to, because the...
Yeah, I would think that they would not take a chance at all. I was just glad to see that they put it on the ground so nothing dangerous could happen to them. But 7 seconds left.
They're not going to break the huddle.
8 on the game clock, so first half effectively ends with Mayville State leading University of Minnesota Morris. Our score, the Comets 20, the Cougars 0. Let's send it to KMAV for a 2-minute timeout before we come back and recap what's going on. We are at halftime here at the Mayville State University of Minnesota Morris football game, and our halftime score, much different than last week, that's for sure. Our score, Mayville State University 20, University of Minnesota Morris 0, as the Comets just dominated the first quarter, putting 20 on the board, 3 touchdowns early in the first quarter, and have pretty much held Morris in check both on the ground and through the air one big pass play by Morris, one big run play on the ground. Two of their plays have gained over 60% of their yardage in the first half. So Mayville State's doing a tremendous job so far on both sides of the ball. Again, markedly different than what we saw last week. Of course, going into that game against Northern State, the Mayville State coaches basically told the players, we're treating this like a preseason game. We're getting you out there. We're getting you ready for the season. And if, unfortunately it does go on the regular season record, but right now it looks like a lot of positive things came out of that game for them, Chuck.
I agree, Brian. I was afraid after the game, if anybody listened to our post-game show last week, that maybe not a whole lot was gained from getting shellacked 60-13 or whatever the score was, something like that. I thought maybe the only good thing was we came out without any injuries, and that this week we'd get some of our key players back, particularly offensive linemen. But as you've alluded to, apparently studying the films and looking over some things, we were able to make some corrections because we're so much sharper today. Of course, there's probably a difference between Northern State, which is a division above us. In fact, they're North Central Conference caliber, aren't they? They're playing North Central Conference team today, but aren't they NCAA Division II?
Yeah, they are. But the Northern Sun ranges from everybody to University of Minnesota Crookston, up to Winona State that qualified in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So it's a very diverse group of teams in that conference.
But Jared Williamson has really been sharp today. Godfrey has been unbelievable. Schaefer made a fantastic catch, and so a lot of things have gone into the making of this 20-0 lead, not the least of which I think, Brian, is our defense, which has bent a little bit, given up a couple plays, but just haven't given up a play that allows them to get into the end zone. By the way, had you been here and watched the first half, you'd have noticed that the Mayville State Comets did a couple things that they did really well last year, and that is get down to the goal line and not be able to score. We did a lot of that last year, and today we had a couple more opportunities. First, we had third and goal to goal. No, we had third and half a foot to go for a first down on about the 2-yard line, and we're unable to convert that. Had we done that, I'm sure with 4 knocks we could have got it in the end zone and made this a 27-0 game. But the Comets have been sharp all day. They've done some really good things. I think the key has been Jared Williamson and Godfrey's offensive prowess. They've just looked absolutely awesome. And then the other thing, Jody Ford has had an aggressive defensive plan today. We've really stunted a lot and aggressively taken a lot of things away from Morris before they could even get started.
Well, and, speaking of defense, last week, they had minimum 20 missed tackles, what they counted, I believe. When I was talking with Coach Ford, I believe he said that he's never had a game here where they had more missed tackles than they had last week. And so far today, for the most part, there's been, a handful of missed tackles, but nothing actually too major. If they've missed a tackle, it hasn't led to a big play downfield. They've generally been able to string it out, maybe gain another 4 or 5 yards at tops. But for the most part, the missed tackles have been kind of on the edges and have forced the player wider. So, if you're going to miss a tackle, I'd rather have them forced wider where someone else can come up and make a tackle. It seems like that's what's happening.
I'm glad you brought that up, Brian, because that's another thing that's noticeably different from last week, and that's our tackling. Last week we were almost ashamed a couple times where we broke tackles, particularly that number 5 for Northern last week. Can't remember the back's name, but he had 5 touchdowns so fast you and our eyes were watering. Didn't play the second half, fortunately, but we missed tackles on him the whole first half last week. And not happening so much today. As you said, a couple missed tackles, but they haven't hurt us. I just think our game plan is good. The thing that everybody has to count on if you're a Comet fan is the momentum can keep going. We've made a lot of second half downfalls the last couple of years, and that hopefully the coaches are going to protect against that right now as we have our halftime talks.
Yeah. Well, and right now I think we're seeing that on defense, that is where the Comets have a little bit more experience. On the offensive line, again, today we really started 2 players were either making their first or second collegiate starts. Another player had 1 start in the last 2 years. So for the Comets along that offensive line, still a very young group. Defensive-wise, though, even though we started a couple freshmen or 1 freshman defensive tackle, another 2 freshmen at linebacker, the defensive backs are a lot more experienced now for Mayville State, and overall the depth that the Comets have on defense has come through pretty well today, too, and so that's been a lot of fun to see. Last week, besides besides just missing tackles, the defenders were also doing things that they shouldn't do, try to go straight on with 330-pound offensive linemen. Today it looks like they're hitting the gaps a little better. It also looks like players are staying home. A lot of players missed assignments last week.
Yeah.
Today we're not seeing those wide open gaps, especially in the edges, like we saw last week either. So it's, of course, some of that is the level of competition, but the other part of it, too, is guys doing their assignments, taking care of the job that they're out there that they're supposed to do, because one breakdown and the player runs a long, long ways out in the field.
And that's what happened last year. Looking at the films last year, so many times, just whether it was against South Dakota Tech or Minnesota Morris, or just a little breakdown, one or two breakdowns last year cost us a chance to win 3 or 4 football games defensively. In other words, what I'm saying is a lot of teams last year scored during the particular football game on 1 or 2 plays where if we'd have made those tackles, they wouldn't have scored and we'd have won the football game. So you're certainly right there. I'm really impressed with our free safety, Ruben Maston. It seems to me that any mistakes that are being made up front on the corners or with our linebackers, he really covers well. He just comes up and makes up for the mistakes by making a key tackle or whatever. So he's been a big factor in making sure that no big plays Morris gets off. So I can see that he's a senior from San Jose, California. I wish he was a sophomore or a freshman or something like that, but nevertheless, he's really anchoring that defense with some really good free safety prowess. Lenora Story, 95 up front, has had his way with the offensive lineman across from him. He's just worked him over good and made some really big plays. So Jody Ford, who the last few years has had some tough times with his defense, can be very proud of him today. And right now, we're doing what everybody does against the Minnesota Twins. We're pitching a shutout.
Well, we have a second half to go. Let's take about a 3-minute timeout here. We'll take a 3-minute timeout, come back, recap the scoring from the first half, redo the stats, and yeah, I suppose we shouldn't probably talk so glowingly because we do have another 30 minutes of football. So we got a lot of time to go in this ball game. And again, after the Comets put 3 touchdowns on the first quarter, Minnesota Morris was able to handle Mayville State plus start moving the ball a little bit. So we'll see how the second half goes here. A lot of football left, but let's send it back to KMAV for a 3-minute timeout. We'll come back, we'll recap the scoring, and then we'll also recap the stats. Welcome back to the Mayville State University Comets football game, where the Comets lead at halftime over the University of Minnesota Morris by a score of 20-0. Let's see, recap scoring here. Sorry for had a little too long of a break there. But let's recap the scoring here in the first half. Basically, it was all Mayville State, and all the scoring came in the first quarter. Mayville State took the opening drive. 5 plays, 75 yards in 2 minutes and 6 seconds, capped by a 64-yard Greg Godfrey reception from Jared Williamson. That drive was set up on a 4th down play. Mayville State gaining the 1 yard that they needed back on about their own 33-yard line. And the play following that one, Williamson dropped back to pass. Deep post pattern to Godfrey. Godfrey got under it and outran the defense into the end zone. Matt Buckaloo added the point after touchdown, and the Comets led 7-0. Few plays, about 6 minutes later with 6:13 remaining in the first, Nick Goulet capped off a 6-play, 37-yard drive by taking a pitch to the left side, outran the defense to the left corner of the end zone. Buckaloo added on the extra point, and Mayville State led 14-0. Then, after University of Minnesota Morris attempted to fake a punt at midfield, Devin Grzeski came up with a huge stop right at the 50-yard line. Ball turned over to Mayville State University, and that drive was capped off when Greg Godfrey made a diving catch in the left corner of the end zone, just stretched out on a beautiful pass there by Williamson, hauled it in for a touchdown. Mayville State could not convert the extra point. I believe the snap was just a little bit low, and so that discombobulated the whole timing of the play there. Missed the extra point, but Mayville State still led 20-0. And in the second quarter, Mayville State had a chance, got it down inside the 5 of Morris, but unfortunately, the defense for Morris stiffened just a little bit too much. Mayville State wasn't able to get anything going on, but just as important as Mayville State putting points on the board is the Comets defense keeping points off the board in terms of handling the offense for the Cougars.
Yeah, I think Morris had several good chances there to catch up on some lack of momentum on our part and didn't take advantage of it, and we were able to, with Coach Ford's prowess defensively, and a couple great plays by Preston Doctor made a couple good plays. Rakeem Rowland came up. Maston. I'm very impressed with some of the defensive things that we've done. And looking at the Comets as they come back on the football field at halftime here, more enthusiasm than you can imagine. Louis Rodriguez is leading the cheers, and this is something that hopefully will carry over to next week. We have a home game next week. It's the Farmers Bowl. Always an exciting time. We play the University of Mary, the last chance we probably will ever have to get even with that team, and we have some getting even to do with them over the past years. And I might point out
the last time since we beat them.
The last few years we've played pretty darn good against Mary. I mean, it's not like they've blown us out. What was it? I think you and I broadcast the game down there a couple of years ago. It was tied at half.
Yeah, actually about 3 years ago we led down there.
Yeah.
2 years ago in Mayville, it was pretty close at halftime. It was either tied or we were down
10-6, I think it was, or something like that. So
last year got kind of ugly.
And one of the things that that stimulates and motivates my blood when we play Mary is they march out on the field with that flag to begin the game, and they lead out there with the flag. And I always think, man, if I was playing, this would get my blood curdling, and I'd get after them. So next week, University of Mary, I imagine it's a 1:30 game, is it?
1:30 kickoff.
1:30 kickoff.
Yeah, we'll run through some other events that are going on also.
Yeah, a lot of exciting things happening next week, including the auction.
Yep. All right, let's see. Just want to run down some quick numbers here first. Let's look at team stats for Morris. 5 first downs for Morris, rushing 14 for 38 yards, passing 5 out of 13 for 78 yards, so 27 offensive plays, 116 yards for Morris. 2 fumbles, they lost one of them, and 2 penalties for 29 yards. Mayville State really dominating with stats. Besides on the scoreboard with a 20-0 lead, Mayville State 14 first downs. The rushing attack not going great so far. We'll see how that goes in the second half. 23 rushing attempts for 67 yards. 253 passing yards for Mayville State, as 15 out of 26 is Jared Williamson today. 49 offensive plays for 320 yards for Mayville. Let's see, the Comets have picked off 2 passes today, recovered 1 fumble. The Mayville State Comets have not had any turnovers today. They have committed 5 penalties for 30 yards. Individual numbers for Morris. Jordan Roman leads the way, 9 carries for 40 yards. Karsnick, 4 carries for a -1, the quarterback, and Distash 1 for a -1. Karsnick 5 out of 12 with 1 interception for 78 yards. Fragout 0 for 1 with an interception. And receiving, Stoic 2 catches for 68 yards, Mahoney 2 for 13, and Fragout 1 for a -3. Mayville State individual stat numbers. Jared Williamson leading in the run category, 5 carries for 32 yards, longest of 20. Nick Goulet, 13 carries for 31 yards, including a 70-yard touchdown run. His longest carry has been 12 yards. Dennis Danzel, 1 for 2. Devin Grzeski, 4 carries for 2 yards. Jared Williamson, again, an incredible first half, 15 out of 26, 253 yards and 2 touchdowns. Individual receiving, Greg Godfrey, a huge game, 6 catches, 154 yards and 2 touchdowns, including 1 catch for 64 yards. Nick Goulet, 4 catches for 31. Jeff Schaefer, 2 catches for 53 yards. Mitch Andrade, 2 for 16. And let's see, that is pretty much it for the numbers, but that passing game for Mayville State, pretty darn impressive so far.
Short passes, the outside, attacking the corners, and Godfrey has just been awesome, and Jared's put the ball right on the money every time. It seems like it's a matter of not being complacent now in the second half and standing on our laurels. What you and I'd like to see, Brian, and the coaching staff is to continue to attack and to keep this lead and not to get complacent, because in the past few years in our games, and many of you have watched our games, we've had a difficult time sustaining any kind of a lead we had. As we indicated earlier, we played Mary and Dickinson and some of those teams really tough over the past years, and then in the fourth quarter, attrition has caught up with us, and we've ended up on the short end. But today we've got a 20-0 lead. I think Jody probably said, let's stay aggressive. I think Kelly, with his offensive style, is going to continue to have Jared throw the ball, and I think we've got to find a variety of receivers, because if Minnesota Morris this coaching staff is worth their salt, and I'm sure they are. They're going to make some adjustments to make sure Godfrey isn't getting open like he was. Maybe they'll double team him, put a man underneath and over the top on him, but they certainly have to stop Godfrey. We're ready to start the second half. Of course, the Minnesota Morris Cougars won the flip, decided to defer. That means they get their choice the second half, and they have chosen to receive, which means we are going to obviously kick off south to north now that we got the field straight. Now everybody had it straight but me. I thought it was east and west, but it's south and north. Cougar fans are standing up, getting fired up. The one thing that Brian and I mentioned in the interim here is there's 30 more minutes to play and anything can happen.
A lot of time left in this ball game, and if you noticed, if you're with us for last year's game, it came down to that final 30 seconds when Morris came up with a huge touchdown reception with 30 seconds left in the ball game. Kickoff deep, drives the returner back inside the 10-yard line, back to about the 8. He's got it to the 20, cuts it back out to the 30-yard line to the 33-yard line. First and 10 here for Morris, as they're going to start off with pretty good field position.
Scott Gallagher makes the tackle. I don't think he's much of a regular on our team, but he's a freshman from California. Comes up and makes the tackle. Special team kids a lot of times don't get a lot of recognition, but in that particular case, Gallagher, who's on those kickoff teams, came up, made a good tackle, and Minnesota Morris will take over on the 33-yard line. First and 10. This first possession might be very critical for both teams. Morris to gain some momentum, and Mayville State to keep it.
All right, leading Morris out of the huddle is Jeff Karsnick. Shotgun formation. First time we've seen that outside of a third down situation. Low snap, ball's on the floor. Karsnick picks it up. Looks downfield, doesn't see anything, rolls out to his right. He's got a receiver open out there. Across midfield, out to the 40-yard line of Mayville State. Huge gain on the first play of 27 yards. Making the reception, I believe, out there was Patrick Mahoney. The quarterback, Karsnick, just lofted it over one of the Comets' defensive backs. Didn't exactly see who that was. I thought maybe it was number 10, but
Carson Story, who did come back and make the tackle.
Linebackers, yep.
And Story, that was one of those plays where everybody was covered. The quarterback then scrambled. In the meantime, the receivers for Minnesota Morris kept moving. Story lost his man. The completion was made. First down, Morris right now sustaining a little bit of get-go here.
Comets show blitz. They bring the blitz. Hand off to Roman. He gets through the first line into the secondary. Tackled after about a 6-yard gain. He's going to carry it out to the 35-yard line. So good start here for Morris as they ran away from the blitz and was able to spring Roman around tackle.
Mike Latorno came up to make the tackle. He as well as Maston have been formidable defensive players for us, along with Lenora Story. Those are the big three right now defensively, but Morris is on the march, and the march has to be stopped here.
Three receivers to the right. Actually, now Collins goes in motion to the left, comes back to the right. Back to pass, three-step drop, swings it out there complete. Ball is on the ground, and it looks like it's going to be recovered by Morris. Pass was complete to Fragote, I believe, 18, and he was hit hard there. That ball just came flying out, ended up being recovered, I think, by Mahoney. That's going to be a first down for Morris at the 24-yard line.
Maston with a thunderous hit forced the fumble. Maston now has to leave the game because it looks as if the contact he made caused him somewhat of an injury. So he leaves the game now, which leaves a big hole back there. Zach Griffin goes in to play that free safety position. First and 10.
Griffin, who started for Mayville State last couple of years, gets into the game. Rakeem Rowland on the coverage as the pass sails just a little bit too much to the inside. Karshnick's pass was intended for Stoic there, but he had to throw that one basically to the outside, Chuck, if he was going to complete that.
Exactly, and Rakeem Rowland had good coverage, had good leverage on him, and basically a very good defensive play by Rowland, who's had a strong game so far. This is one of those let's bend but not break type of defensive sequences here for the Comets, as Morris has come out with a little fire in their eye and have marched the ball down the football field to the 25-yard line, in fact.
Second and 10 for Morris. Collins goes in motion to the left side. Hand off to Roman, stretches it to the left side, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage. Carson Story comes over to make the initial hit there with Lenora Story. The bookends, really.
Wow.
The Story books coming through with the tackle.
That's a good call there, because both those guys came up and made big hits for Mayville State. Both very excellent football players, and boy, we needed a big defensive play there. Third down and 10 now. Pretty much forces Morris into some kind of a passing situation. our secondary coverage has been pretty darn good today. So we need one more play here where we can coverage their receivers. However, they might be in 4-down country, too, as far as that goes.
Blaine Steven in the backfield as the running back, picks up a blitz. Karshnick being pushed hard out to the right side. He just lost it down the sideline. That one goes incomplete, out of bounds, intended out there for Collins. And Collins tried to do the old, let's just keep the feet hanging on the sidelines there, but the pass just took him a little bit too much out of bounds. Now 4th down and 10.
Now another injury is Johnny Stillwell covering on that play from his corner position. Probably is going to have to come out of the game if the officials notice that he's hurt. Now he ducks into the huddle because he doesn't want to leave the game. And it looks like Maston is back in the game, and that's good news, too. 4th and 10, big play for both teams right here. Probably more so for Morris, who has to get something on the board as we get this third quarter going.
Shotgun formation again, 4th and 10 from about the 24-yard line. Comets show blitz, and they're going to bring the blitz straight up the middle. And the Karshnick, he's going to get, goes through 2 tackles, finally tripped up there as number 3 for the Comets. Preston Doctor, the senior from Pahrump, ends up cleaning up being the garbage man there, really, on that one.
That was a great tackle. Quarterback, if Doctor doesn't make that tackle, he's got a wide open field on the left side, and who knows how many yards he goes for, but at least a first down he would have gotten. Instead, it's a turnaround. The Comets now will come out of the offensive huddle with their head coach and come out on the field, and Mayville State dodges a bullet there somewhat because Morris gets on the scoreboard there, and we got a new football game. As it is, the Comets now have the football back, and Morris is flaunted in their attempt to score.
Yeah, Morris came up with a couple quick body blows there, but Mayville State able to hold it off.
That's right.
And running the ball up there, 25 for Mayville State on the roster that's listed as Tando, but that is actually Barrett Herr running the ball. Normally wears 28, but apparently he's going back to 25 this week.
Sean Gremmels up to make that tackle. He hasn't made as many tackles as I remember him making last year in the game, but he's been blocked pretty readily today from his linebacker position, knowing that he's that good. We've been double teaming him at times.
Handoff, that is Herr straight up the middle again. A little bit more room. He's going to be about a yard shy of a first down, but good hard running there as he carries it out close to the 30-yard line.
Tackle that time by 49. 49 is J.J. Cox. I think he's one of the defensive and captains of the Minnesota Morris team. Has been on a number of tackles. We got 3rd and short for the Comets now. Big first down, so we can continue to march down the field, use the clock as we're into the third quarter. 11-27 Comets with a 20-0 lead over the Cougars. Cougars last year in the second half came back and beat the Comets after we were leading. And now we have a fumble or a mis-exchange or something. Jared never did get the football.
Yeah, something unseemly happened there as the ball ends up on the ground. That's going to be a legal procedure against Mayville State.
Well, an untimely penalty when we had 3rd and short, and I mean short in that it was only about a foot. Marches us back 5 yards, and now we're going to have 3rd, and they'll probably call it 6.
Yeah, you probably should make those 3rd and shorts, but I think we've done better on about 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 6s than we have on the short plays.
We just haven't converted anything for a yard. We just need to have some kind of a blockbuster play, and we haven't had it up inside there.
Receivers left and right, 2 tight ends, back to pass. Pass is intended out there for Andrade, I think. It looks like he's got the catch, should have enough for a first down. Just got a yard beyond the sticks, and that was Mitch Andrade coming up with about his 3rd catch of the game. Just stopped a yard beyond the sticks and caught a nice slow pass there from Williamson. About the only person that was going to catch that one was Andrade.
Good reception by Andrade. Knew exactly where the stakes were, needed a first down, and we got it. And continues the drive here as we're on our 40-yard line now. Jared's under center. Let's get something going.
Handoff to Herr, goes straight up the middle, and he is pulled down after about a gain of 1 or 2, just as he hit the line of scrimmage. Bootleg reached their arms out and pulled him down.
Bootleg type action by Jared didn't fool anybody, and the offensive line surge was not there, and we just simply again are having a tough time with our running attack, other than Jared on the bootleg keepers, where he's been able to in fact be our leading rusher, as I think you indicated at halftime. And Jared comes back into the huddle now. We got 2nd down, and, well, it's 9. It says 10 on the board, but it's 2nd down and 9. We're on the 41-yard line.
Williamson under center, 2 receivers to the left side. Handoff That is Goulet trying to bust it down the right sideline. He's got enough for a first down and more, but we do have a flag thrown by the official, the referee, in the white hat.
Yeah. Referee threw the ball, or threw the flag, and it's in the backfield, so it's going to be a holding call against Mayville State's number 75, I believe. This year they do, in fact, tell who it is that's making the penalties, and 75 is Andy Alt, although we couldn't hear that. I saw the hold there, and so an untimely, very untimely 10-yard penalty against the Comets is going to march us back close to the 30-yard line, where it's going to be second down and 19.
Yeah, actually, interesting to see Andy Alt in there. He started the year as a defensive lineman. He only made the switch about last week or so to offensive line, and he is actually from graduated high school in Hillsborough last year, but he's from Munich, Germany. So the German guy came over as a foreign exchange student, now playing football for Mayville State. Big frame. He's got a chance to be a good one. And pass, diving catch out there by Andrade at the 35-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 3 on the play, but should be worth about 15 for that nice catch he made.
Yeah, great catch by Andrade, although it was a short gain, and he couldn't maintain any running after he caught it because he had to spread out to catch it. Some of those passes in the flats can get a little scary, too, when the cornerbacks are coming up quickly. They may, and let's hope this doesn't happen, pick off one of those passes from Jared if he doesn't keep the zip on the ball. It's going to be third down and about 14 now for the Comets.
So Mayville State, 2 receivers to the right, 1 receiver to the left. Williamson back to pass. He's getting a little pressure, and he's going to go down. Just back at the 28-yard line. Good pressure coming through the middle. Initial job done by 87, Brandy Jansen. And just a nice job there by Morris to come through quickly.
And a good job by Jared not to panic and throw the ball away or anything. He just ate the ball when he saw that he was going to go down. And that's the thing to do. Maybe last year at that time he would have tried to maybe throw the ball or something under duress. That time he just ate it, and that's what you have to do when you're being stuffed like that. Punting situation for the Comets now, and Morris should get good field position as Robert Stevens is going to punt here.
Stevens inside the 15-yard line. The ball is on the floor. He's got to roll out. And does the Reese Lloyd punt. Nice job. He's got to get a nice bounce there.
Wow.
Inside the 30, inside the 25, down to about the 23-yard line. But if you saw the Reese Lloyd of the Gophers last year punt, always rolled out to his right and then kicked it on the side. That's pretty much what Stevens did there after he picked it up, and he hit a heck of a punt.
Absolute, total great play by Stevens. Once again, one of those plays you want to see on film. A low snap, fumbled it, picked it up, punted it anyway, and got away about a 48-yarder. So once again now we go to Jody Ford Comet defense. That's been very staunch today. As indicated, bends on occasions, just doesn't break, doesn't let Morris get inside the 10-yard line. They've been outside the 10, the 15 and 20, but haven't been able to get inside the 10. We got 8:07 left to go here in the third period. Comets still with that first quarter 20 points, holding on to it 20-0.
All right, well, we've got, the little delay on the field here. Some issues apparently with one of the officials. 8:07 remaining in the third quarter. Again, Mayville State 20, University of Minnesota Morris 0. All the scoring was done in the first quarter in this game as, let's see, Greg Godfrey caught 2 touchdowns for Mayville State, and a third one, Nick Goulet, was added on rushing touchdown for the Comets. But since late in the first quarter, no points by either squad. All right, lone setback is Roman behind Karshnick. Collins goes in motion to the left, then comes back to the right. 2 receivers down the right. Pitch play to Roman, tries to take it to the right side, and he's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Coming through, stripping the ball out, is 93 for Mayville State, and that is Stephen Elkins coming up with the tackle, but nice defensive work by the whole line there to force that outside.
Yeah, Preston Doctor and Johnny Stillwell did what they're supposed to do, and that is, Brian, turn the play inside and let the linebackers come over and clean up, and that's exactly what they did. So you have to give credit to the people who turned that play inside, and that was Doctor and Stillwell. So good defense by the Comets, not letting number 7 get to the outside. If that Roman ever gets loose on the outside and down the inside field, we may have a tough time catching him because he's really quick.
Well, we have holding against the Morris offense. That's going to mark it back inside the 15-yard line down to the, let's say, the 14-yard line. First and 20 now for Morris from their own 14-yard line. They needed to get it out to close to the 34-yard line. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Roman behind Karshnick. Collins goes from left to right, back to his right, and pass complete out into the left flat. Making the reception is Patrick Mahoney out to the 20-yard line. That's a gain of 6 on the play, but quick coverage out there by Mayville State.
Roland on the coverage. Boy, those 2 corners of the Mayville State Comets are awesome. Roland, a kid who you're going to enjoy watching play at Mayville State next weekend, absolutely covering this corner position nicely. Nashville, Tennessee, I suppose he has some concerns down there in the south right now with possibly some family. And then on the other side of the field is our all-conference player for the last couple years, and that's DeMarcus Rideau.
Collins motion left, then comes back to the right, and quarterback Karshnick's going to have to keep it. He gained some positive yards before he's pulled down at about the 26-yard line. That's only going to be a gain of about 2 on the play, and looks like, can't really tell. Karshnick seems like he's panicking a little bit too quick on that one.
A little bit, I agree. Carson Story came up and made the tackle there. Again, the receivers are being covered pretty well, and initially when the quarterback looks out at his receivers and sees them covered right away, he is somewhat panicking and not giving them a chance to break into the open field, and then he takes off running, and we're covering him pretty good, the quarterback, that is, when he starts to run.
Shotgun formation from the 27. He needs to get to the 34. 3rd and 7 to go. Receiver Collins goes in motion to the left. This time he stays on the left. Back to pass. Getting forced out by Preston Doctor. Quarterback now throws underneath at the 40, and that one is going to be complete. Catch there for Collins. Collins had to come all the way from the left side of the field to the right side of the field and was standing alone at the 20, caught the low pass. That's enough for a first down.
Story covering on the play along with Ruben Maston. A very well conceived play there. Only one person could catch the ball. That was the receiver. We had 2 defensive players right there to make sure he didn't go any further. But Minnesota Morris comes up again with another one of their first downs.
Karshnick, the sophomore, has thrown some nice balls today. Handoff to Roman, trying to stretch it out to the left side. He's tackled from behind the line of scrimmage.
David Dick.
Play, yeah.
David Dick, way to go, Dave. Big Mayport CG kid comes up and just makes a spectacular defensive play for the Comets. Coming off the tackle position, firing in there, and messed up the play and causes a 4-yard loss, 2nd down and 14. Every time Morris comes up with something good, Brian, our defense comes up with something better and prevents them from being able to get anything going. We're one good thing happening right now, the clock is moving, and we're at 5:14 as the 3rd quarter goes by pretty rapidly.
Back to pass, swings it out to the right side. That pass is complete, but there's not going to be any gain on that one. Reception there was made by Fragote, but making the tackle right away there was DeMarcus Rideau. No gain on that play, or must be a gain of about 4 on that play. That's going to be a 3rd down and 10 now.
And a very sure tackle, as you indicated at halftime, how well we've tackled today. Boy, there was an arm wrap. That receiver was going nowhere, and I've seen more of that. I imagine our defensive coaches during the week must have worked really, really strong on that arm wrap, because we're really doing a nice job of that this week.
And again, going back to that tackle Dick made behind the line of scrimmage, you must have been given a great gap by the defensive line, because he just shot through there. Quarterback Karshnick looked like he had problems with the snap. He's going to roll out with it, and oh boy, this could get ugly. He's hit out of bounds at about the 48-yard line. Boy, I thought he was about a yard or 2 out when a couple of the Comets hit him, but no penalty flag there. I was afraid they were going to throw a personal foul flag. Latorno
came over and hit him out of bounds. I don't know. I think that was a good no call by the officials. He was on his way out of bounds, but he was still in bounds when Latorno left his feet. So I think a good no call on that, even though it looked kind of suspicious. It's going to be 4th down and 3. It does look like Morris is going to bring in the punting team with number 13, once again, Marcis Pavars from Latvia punting, and back for us is going to be, I would imagine, Maston probably again.
Yep, we've seen Godfrey back there a couple times today. This time Maston's going to get a shot at it. And last time they were in this very similar position. As the clock runs out, we're going to have a delay of game on the field, delay of game on Morris. That's going to march them back 5 yards. And now the Comets, actually the reason Maston was back there was because the Comets played their regular defense. So remembering the last time Morris was in a similar situation, they ran that fake punt. This time the Comets kept their regular defense out there, which is why
the Comet coaches are making some good decisions today. Just everything they're doing seems to be right, and that's a credit to them.
Yeah, it's worked out very well. Here's the snap. Kick is off, and Godfrey is just going to have to watch that one as, oh, boy, just
that looked like
an attractive punt.
That was like one of your golf shots, kind of a shank to the right.
I don't even hit the golf ball that well. That one goes out of bounds. Comets going to take over at the 27-yard line, 28-yard line.
Well, that looks
about a 24, 25. Let's see, that's about a 29-yard punt on that one.
That was one of Brian Curtis's golf shots, a shank to the right.
Yeah, now that could be true. 30 yards officially on the punt. I knew I was close to my math.
4:14.
Making a wild guess, actually.
Left to go here in the third quarter, and boy, there just hasn't been any scoring since the first quarter by any team. Fortunately, the Comets did score 20. Jared under center now, and see if he can get something going.
Handoff to Barrett Herr, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage, not able to get anywhere. Gets it. They're going to mark him right back down at the 29. Maybe a gain of 1 then on the play brings up second down and 9 to go. But again, the Comet offensive line just, I know they're trying to mesh after not really playing together last week, but so far just having a hard time getting anything going against this strong defense of Morris.
Andrew Shea on the tackle, Ryan Powell, A.J. Cox got a piece of the action there. It's going to be second down and 9, a gain of 1, and as Brian indicates, just can't get anything going from the running standpoint up front.
All right, Williamson back to pass, swings it out to Andrade. He's got the ball out to about the 34-yard line, and he is going to be about 4 yards shy of a first down. We'll say he's about 5 yards shy of a first down. They need to get it to about the 30, just shy of the 39-yard line.
Another one of those quick passes that have been so effective today. Andrade goes out of bounds. We'd rather have our receivers and everybody else stay in bounds now, so the clock keeps running. Right now it's stopped with Andrade going out of bounds. 3:32 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, Morris now doing a very good job taking away those short routes, really, for Mayville State. Comets haven't been able to turn anything upfield. This time, looking to throw it downfield a little bit more. Nice defensive play there by number 14. Yeah, that is Gremmels that comes across, knocks that ball away there. And Comets are going to be forced to punt.
Good defensive play by linebacker there. Little bloodlines there, Brian Curtis is saying. That's one of my nephews making the tackle there. Kid from Minnewaska, not a very big football player, but like all those Gremmels kids, tough if you remember them. Here we go, punting situation.
Stevens standing back at his 20-yard line. Had to roll out and got off a pretty good punt last time. This one rolls to him, too. Does get that one off. There's a flag on the field. That punt hits at the 30, inside the 25, down out of bounds at the 20-yard line. So good, effective punt.
Head linesman threw a flag right away on the snap, meaning probably they must have been lined up off sides again.
There was, well, it couldn't have been on the Comets till this time, I wouldn't think, because they didn't blow it dead right away. But legal procedure by Mayville State. So that's going to move the Comets. I'm assuming that they're going to want to re-kick this one over because that was a 46-yard punt there for Stevens.
Yeah, legal procedure on a punt. I don't know what you do. Must have been some movement up front, but forcing us to punt again. 3:19 and counting. Can't wait for the fourth quarter to come and 1 minute left and the score is still 20-0 because then we're going to up here have a celebration with a mellow yellow and a piece of pizza because right now the Comets are sitting in good position. If we can just continue to do the things we've been doing up to this particular point. It'd be nice to get another touchdown up on the board, however. Won't happen on this play because we're punting.
Comets really haven't tried to push the ball downfield, though. I mean, a lot of their presses have been in the 5 to 15-yard range. Haven't really seen them try to go for the home run recently.
That's very true. Just short passes to the outside.
Yeah. Here's the snap. Much better snap to Stevens. This one he kicks straight away. Not nearly as good a punt, but he's going to get a nice roll on this one.
Wow.
Rolls inside the 30 down to about the 25. So pretty much the same length of punt. Ends up being about a 46-yard punt again with about 20 yards of it coming from the roll.
Ball's going to be on the 29-yard line where Morris will take over. Mayville State can play some good contained football here. For 3 more minutes, we'll get this third quarter out of the way and then obviously go to the fourth quarter with a 20-0 lead. Morris, however, as indicated last year in the same football game, came back in the fourth quarter with some really resounding plays, particularly from the quarterback, and he's not here this year, so that's good news as well.
Karshnick under center, looks over the Comet defense. Collins goes in motion from right to left. 3 to the left side, hands off to Roman. He's going to follow receiver Collins that way, and he's stacked up behind the line of scrimmage. The Comets begin great penetration over there, and it seems like when they've rolled the extra receiver over there, the Comets have overloaded to that side too and made sure to knock the player down. That's about a 3-yard loss on that play.
Story brothers, that time Elkins was in on the play. Wow. I guarantee you there's some good penetration going on up front. We've mentioned our offensive line from Mayville State today hasn't really opened a lot of running holes, but by the same token, our defense has plugged up a lot of the holes that the Morris offense has tried to make too. So tick for tack there.
Justin Miller, defensive lineman out of Alabama, also in there. Haven't had a chance to talk to Justin, see if anything's gone on with his home. Pass going deep down the field. That one goes incomplete. Bracketed coverage over there. Had Roland on short side, had Maston deep, and wasn't much chance to get that one in there. Pass was intended for Andy Jensen.
Secondary coverage today has been awesome. In the past couple of years, this is by far the best defense I've seen our kids play. I think it has to do with it just seems like we're a little quicker at the corners, and certainly Maston at the free safety. And then those linebackers have been moving around pretty good too. So looks like we have a quicker defensive team this year, and that's going to be an asset for us.
3 receivers to the right side. Karshnick back to pass, swings it to Roman on the left side. He's got some blockers out there. He's got close to first down yardage when he's tackled from behind. He is to the 35-yard line, and that should be enough for a first down. Well conceived play there, I thought, by Morris. Pretty much all the defensive players were over on the right side, and they got to flip their linemen to the left. Everything
was faking to the right, and they were setting up a screen on the left. So as you indicated, we really flowed with the movement to the right, the throw back to the left. Unfortunately, Elkins stayed somewhat at home and was able to make the tackle for the Comets. 1st and 10. Once again, Morris starting to make a move, but they've got a lot of points to make up here. 1:55 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Elkins to pull him down. He had a long way to go to catch up to Roman. Handoff straight up the middle. He's got a little room. One-on-one. He's got a first down plus a yard or two. Boy, got into the secondary in no time there and was one-on-one with Maston. Maston, though, made a sure tackle and pulled him down after a 12-yard gain.
Exactly. Boy, this Maston kid, free safety, really came up and made a sure tackle there. That's a touchdown if Maston gets juked out or faked out or falls down or does anything, which has happened to us in the past. This time he came up and made a sure tackle. Once again, Minnesota Morris is moving, but they haven't gotten inside that 10-yard line.
Collins going in motion from left to right. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right, and tried to dump off to the tight end just right into the center of the defense. Not able to connect. The tight end just wasn't able to get his head around quick enough.
Quarterback that time read fire by our linebackers because we were coming, and on those particular kind of plays, you have a fire call, and you just dump it to the tight end. It's a very good play and a good read by the quarterback. It just didn't click as the ball wasn't thrown very well. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. The ball is on the Cougar 47-yard line, so they haven't crossed the 50 into our country yet, and we're now 1:24 in the third.
Comets still up, 20-0. Tight end goes in motion to the left. That's Nelson back to pass. Karshnick looking downfield. He's getting pressure from Lenore Story. Forced him out to the right. Quarterback pointing downfield, telling receivers and blockers where to go, and he's going to get knocked out of bounds on the Comet sideline, or his Comet side of the field, at the 46-yard line of Mayville State, and he should be a little bit shy of a first down there, I believe.
Louis Rodriguez pretty much in on that, knocking the quarterback out of bounds. One of the coaches for Morris says to his players, when you see one of our players flying out of bounds, will you please catch him so he doesn't end up in the ropes? And that time it was a very good play by Morris, and we're going to bring up 3rd down and 2.
Receivers left and right. Now receiver going in motion to the left, 2 on that side. Dump pass to the tight end over the middle. That one works. First down and more to the 35, 34-yard line of Mayville State.
Once again now,
12 on that play.
Once again now, with the blitzes and the stunts coming, you can beat them with little short passes over the middle because the linebackers leave spaces behind the defensive line because they're stunning. Well, that leaves the tight end wide open there, and that's what they've spotted, and that's what they're doing. 35-yard line. Morris moving, under 1 minute to go in the third quarter.
Well, but that time the tight end made sure to whip his head around, too, to see what was going on. Fumble snap, ball on the ground. Comets have a great shot at getting that one down there. And the officials indicate that Mayville State has it. Quarterback came out too quick, or the snap just did not get to him.
Quarterback actually pulled out of there too soon, Brian. And the ball went down, and fortunately we got it. I didn't see who got the fumble, but, boy, I'll tell you what. You want to talk about a momentum buster for Minnesota Morris. That could really be important.
I think that was the freshman, Elkins, number 93, I think. Stephen Elkins, I believe, came up with that one. It looked like he covered that one. At least right now we'll go with 93. Might have been Preston Doctor also, number 3, but right now it looked like it was probably 93. So Mayville State takes over 1st and 10, their own 35-yard line. Godfrey goes in motion to the right, swing pass out to him, bobbles it, picks it up. He's going to gain about 8 on that play as he gets it out to about the 43-yard line. So 2nd down and about 4 to go for Mayville State.
Adam Turgeon made the tackle for Morris. Boy, that was a great play by Godfrey, who made a fantastic catch, fumbled it in the air, kept his feet, and it ends up with a 7-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down, 3 yards to go for Mayville State. And after this play, we may have the end of the 3rd quarter.
Williams lined up wide right, handoff to Barrett, that is Goulet. He's going to be dropped at the line of scrimmage, just nowhere for him to go. And, that should be the final play here of the 3rd quarter.
Turgeon in on that tackle again. He's been a stalwart defensive player. We're going to end this 3rd quarter with the same score we had at halftime and the same score we had at the end of the 1st quarter.
All right. Yep, our score, Mayville State 20, University of Minnesota Morris 0. Let's take a 1-minute timeout here on KMAV Radio.
I think we're
Welcome back for the start of the 4th quarter here. Mayville State University leads University of Minnesota Morris 20-0 down here in Morris, Minnesota. 3rd down and 2 to go. 3rd down and just shy of 3 to go. Williamson, 4-step drop, throws to the left side, and that one is going to be incomplete. Intended for Godfrey out there. I just don't think he was able to show that he had full control of it. Seemed like he was bobbling it just a little bit, Chuck.
Yeah, he's looking at the referee and wondering why that was incomplete, because he did catch it, but apparently, like you said, he was either bobbling it.
They've now put the ball down where he went out of bounds. So we got a discussion on the deep back judge there.
Yeah.
So they are talking about this one. He may have, they may rule that this is a catch. We're going to, at least the officials are talking about it. You have to love it when they work together. And it is a catch, and that's a 1st down. Great, well, because it went for the Comets way, obviously, great work by the official.
Well, Godfrey was looking at the official and wondering why they were even suspicious about whether he caught it, because it looked like he had it, and then he stepped out of bounds, but like you said, he could have been bobbling it. Not the case. It's a 1st down for the Comets. We want to keep this clock moving in the 4th quarter, and we don't want a lot of drop passes. We don't want a lot of people going out of bounds. We want the clock to move.
Yeah, the Morris coach just not happy to it, giving it to one of the field judges there. The linesman was the one that made the call and ruled it incomplete. Then the back judge or field judge came over and said, no, we should make that a completion. Play action pass, looking deep downfield. Williamson letting it go, intended for Andrade, and that one incomplete. Just could not connect on that one. Andrade seemed to drift a little bit to the inside, and that ball ended up going a little bit to the outside towards the sideline. Incomplete pass there, and I wonder if the wind kind of blew that one away from Mitch also.
Also, Quackenbush, the defender there, had good coverage on the receiver, and it would have been a tough catch anyway. So you indicated a minute ago you thought, knowing Kelly as you do, he'd probably go deep, and that's exactly what he did. Next play, he goes deep. But those incomplete passes stop the clock, and we don't want that. We want the clock to move.
2 receivers to the right, 1 receiver to the left. Throw intended for Nick Green, but that one goes incomplete. And just a 3-step drop. It looked like Williamson wanted to get rid of it a little bit sooner, just was unable to, and then pretty much just threw that one away.
Yeah, nobody near that one. Even the defenders were far away from that one. The ball was just thrown into no man's land. So, again, with 14:43, the clock stopped. Nothing being gained by this series of plays. Yeah. We're not consuming any clock, and we're not getting anywhere, so it's 3rd and 10.
But at this point, almost have to throw it. Comets at their own 49-yard line. 3rd down and 10. Williamson straight drop. Little pressure, moves up to the left, scrambles. He's going to get a couple of yards, gets it across midfield to the 49 of Morris. That's going to keep the clock running for you. Well, actually, now we have an injury on the field, so that's going to stop the clock.
77 is injured, but he gets up on his own. That's Mike Pickard. We don't want anything to happen to Mike. He missed last week's game, and it was obvious that he wasn't there last week. And so we're going to punt now, and the Stevens, who had to punt almost every third to fourth down last week, is going to show his prowess here, and he's done a good job of punting.
Standing deep back there for Morris is going to be Eric Quackenbush. He's lined up at his 10-yard line. Waiting for the snap. Oh, high snap. He pulls it down. He's going to, get tackled. Big-time loss. Morris is going to take over at the Comets 33-yard line. That was a great job there by Stevens to actually touch that one and knock it down. That snap was going to go between the goalposts 50 yards away. Stevens was able to actually tip it up, pulled it down, and just did not have a chance to get that one off. Try to move to the right side. Instead, huge loss there for the Comets. That's going to be about a 19-yard loss or thereabouts. And Moore is going to take over at their own 33-yard line. Like I said, there's a lot of time left in this ballgame.
Cougars have to convert one of these mistakes by the Comets here pretty quick. This would be a good time for them to do it, as they have pretty good field position on the 35-yard line. These are the kinds of things the Comets have been known for in the past that have really hurt us.
Yeah, pass going to the end zone, deep right side. That is Rideau over there. Excellent coverage. Ball was intended out there for Ryan Stoic, but Rideau kept Stoic towards the sideline, didn't allow him any room to move back towards that ball. Pass goes incomplete. It really just looked like no one on the Morris team was really sure of what the formation was. Just a little bit too much confusion there with guys going different directions.
Very obvious that our corner coverage on wide receivers is outstanding this year. Should be. Rideau's all-conference 2 years in a row. He's back. And then we have some outstanding work by Rakeem Rowland as well.
Wing on the right side, two receivers left and right. Quarterback's going to keep it, looking for a block out there. He's to the 30, gets it to the 26-yard line. He's going to be about 2 yards shy of a first down. Brings up 3rd and 2 at this point in the game. And in this situation, though, Chuck, I'm sure it's two-down territory.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Rowland and on the tackle, 54. Brian Baca was in on the tackle as well. And once again, the defense has to stand up here and get the job done. Touchdown by Morris right now puts them back in the football game. A lot of time left in this fourth quarter. Fourth quarters have always been dangerous for the Comets, and this is no exception, as Morris is marching down the field right now.
I formation to single back as Collins goes in motion to the right. Handoff. That's a new back in there. Gets to the first line down to about the 20-yard line. That's going to be a first down, gain of 6 on the play. Running the ball there was Blaine Steffen, the junior running back from Ladysmith, Wisconsin.
Carson Story makes another one of his patented tackles today, but not until after a good, quick run by Morris gets them down to the 20-yard line. This time, the Minnesota Morris has to score, or I think it's going to be school out. And I say that because they've so many times marched the ball from the 20 to the 20 and haven't gotten any further. They've got to do something this time.
Quick fade to the left side of the end zone, and good coverage over there by Mayville State. The receiver, Stoic, just not able to break away from Rowland over there. And so it's going to be 2nd down and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Rowland on one side and DeMarcus Rideau on the other side, just doing a stalwart job of defending those kinds of passes, which are just lobs to the end zone, and besides that, covering all kinds of receiving moves that making out there. So our corners have been very staunch. This is a true test for our defense now. It's 2nd and 10.
Shotgun formation. Steffen lined up to the right of the quarterback, and the whistle blows on the play. Still was 1 second on the clock, so I'm assuming a legal procedure.
Yeah, the lineman over there, head linesman, threw the flag, so the referee's going to tell us exactly right now.
Oh.
Illegal procedure against Morris. That'll cost them 5 yards, something they didn't need at this point of the football game, as they, penalties like that just break your momentum, and you've got something going, and everybody's excited, and all of a sudden you have this distraction of a penalty and marches them back. And 4 downs to make 10 yards is makeable, but when you got to make 15 yards, then it becomes a little tougher.
All right, Collins going in motion to the right, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Karshnick back to pass. He's pressured there by Esslinger. He gets the pass off underneath to Collins. He's out of bounds at about the 13-yard line. That's going to be a couple yards shy of a first down, about 3 yards shy of a first down. But bad news out here, it looks like, for Minnesota Morris, their main running back, Jordan Roman, shoulder pads off, ice on the ankle. Doesn't look like he'll be coming back into today's ball game. And Roman has been an important part to their offense today, but at this point doesn't look like he's going to be back on the field.
Well, that Blaine Steffen, on his one carry that I saw him, I'll tell you what, he didn't miss a beat. He was down there in the field in a hurry. 3rd down and 4. Big play for Morris here. Big play for the Comets.
Karshnick back to pass, goes to the end zone, incomplete.
Nowhere near the receiver.
Yeah, throw went high. It was intended for Mahoney, but coming underneath the route there was Roland on that play, and it would have had to be a pretty good touch pass for that one to have been completed, but thrown way too much on the line.
I know there's 13 minutes left in the football game, but I think this is a big play for the Cougars. I think they have to get something in the end zone here. They need 3 scores, and they probably need one right here. So, boy, the crowd is up. This, everybody understands, is a big play.
Karshnick back to pass, gets some pressure, and he's going to be pulled down. Esslinger, the freshman from Cooperstown, North Dakota, comes through on the blitz and sacks the quarterback on 4th down back at the 21-yard line. Oh, we got a flag on the field, though. Inside the 10-yard line, at about the 7-yard line. That's more probably where you're going to find a defensive holding or defensive pass interference, and it is holding against Mayville State University. That's going to be 5 and an automatic 1st down. Oh, man, after a great defensive play there, great call there to send Esslinger on the blitz.
Esslinger made a great play for a freshman. Cooperstown, Griggs County Central kid, I would imagine, makes a great play, and it's offset by a holding in the secondary there. We don't know who the culprit was there, but boy, I'll tell you what, as you've indicated, Morris is going to come out of here with a 1st down automatic, and they're going to place the ball, let's see, probably on about the, it'll be close to the 13-yard line. Let's see how they mark it.
Should be well inside there. That the 14 was the line of scrimmage, so it should be at about the 9-yard line or so.
Yeah, you're right.
Actually, I guess usually call 10 yards on that, so I was thinking of the NFL rule. NFL, I think it's just 5 and a 1st down.
And I was thinking half the distance to the goal line inside the 20 on calls, but I don't know. Those guys got it straight, but I'll tell you what, it's goal and goal. Morris 1st and goal to goal on the 8-yard line.
Full house backfield. Steffen at the tailback spot. 3 steps up. Quick throw into the end zone. Pass was incomplete. Boy, great effort over there by Roland. Looked like making the reception, or should have making the reception, was Stoic, number 11. But as soon as the ball hit him, Roland came through, knocked that ball away, which was a good thing that they called it incomplete, because that was awfully close to possession and a fumble. But great job there by Roland. Yeah. 2nd down and goal to go now from the 8.
Rakeem Roland with a good arm wrap just stripped the ball right away from him. Otherwise, it's probably a Morris touchdown.
Actually, this looks like inside the 8. We're going to call it from the 7. 2nd down and goal to go from the 7-yard line. Full house backfield again, adjusted slightly the other way this time. Handoff, that's Steffen, sidesteps the tackler, and he's knocked down. In there's all kinds of players for Mayville State. Rodriguez was one of them, but also Elkins kind of bottled that thing up there too.
A lot of people.
Great job there.
Stephen Elkins was the key. That was a good spot by you because he was the main tackler. 95, Lenore Story in there again. One of the Comets is slow to get up, but now they're going to continue the play.
And of course now, Rodriguez makes the tackle. He was a little slow getting up, but since they stopped the clock there for a second for injury, he's got to come out of the field. That's going to put a freshman on the field. Of course, it's Dick from Mayville who came up with a nice play earlier on, but at this point, awful nice to have the junior out there in Rodriguez. But since unfortunately it took a couple extra seconds to get up, they had to pull him off the field, and it's not really probably worth it to burn a timeout to keep him on the field.
Rodriguez can come back in after this
play, but 2nd down and 3rd down from the 7 now. Fumble snap, and then he's going to, quarterback Karshnick covers it right at the 10-yard line. Loss of 3 on the play. 3rd down and goal now from the 10.
Minnesota Morris is just shooting themselves in the foot. Every time they get a position like this, they've had a bad snap from center. Another one there. The quarterback's pulling out. I don't think that's necessarily a bad snap. Looks to me like he's pulling out. But now we've got a 4th down and what could be the biggest play of the football game with the clock moving and Morris needing a score. And obviously they're probably going to have to pass on this one. Probably a quick slant of some kind. We'll see.
Yep.
Probably a quick slant to 11. That would be my guess.
All right, back to pass, 3-step drop. He's going to the end zone, and he's going to get sacked from behind. Coming in for Mayville State to make the sack.
Fernando Valadeo.
And great play there by the linebacker for Mayville State to fly through there and make that tackle. Good call to get him on the blitz there. And Mayville State's going to take over at the 16-yard line. A loss of 6 on the play.
I got Fernando Valadeo making that tackle. Does that sound like he might have been the one? Number 43, anyway. That's what
43.
It says.
And so Mayville State offensively going to take over now, 1st and 10 at their own 16-yard line.
I think that's a big missed touchdown scoring opportunity for Morris there. I think that was the time they needed to score. So it's going to be 1st down and 10 for Mayville State. Coach is going to keep the ball on the ground and use that clock as much as possible.
All right, so Comets come up with a great defensive stand there with 11:30 left in the ball game. Great job by Mayville State. Keeps the distance at 20-0 in favor of Mayville State University. And now, Chuck, as you mentioned before, Comets want to keep the clock running, but they're certainly going to have to pick up a few first downs here to move.
Yeah, that first play was very little gain by 24, and that's Nick Goulet, and so it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Williamson Godfrey split up to the left side on Andrade to the right. And handoff, that one goes to Goulet, and he is hit in the backfield. He has just stood up there, making the tackle with Scott Ryland. Unblocked, came through, hit him belly to belly, and buried him for about a 2-yard loss, or 3-yard loss on that play.
Scott Ryland will get the Defensive Player of the Game award for Morris because he's just been in on every other tackle. 3rd down now. The only good thing that's happening for the Comets is the clock is moving because the ball isn't moving. Well, in fact, it is moving, but we're going the other way. 3rd down and 13 for Mayville State. And
And did want to see you're right. That was Fernando Valadeo on that sack, too, on that 4th down play. Godfrey going in motion. Play around, or handoff, reverse to Godfrey. He's going to get across the 20 to about the 21. That's going to be about a gain of 5, or actually about a gain of 8 on that play, but leaves them 5 yards shy of a 1st down. 4th down and 5 to go for Mayville State.
Well, that was a decent play to get the clock continuing to move and to get us into a little better position to punt. I don't know. I think Morris is going to run out of chances here. That last time they had the possession of the football, they needed to score. Now we're going to be under 10 minutes in the football game, and they're going to get the ball back. But we got Stevens punting, and he has been an offensive weapon for us the whole game.
And let's hope he's got an easy one to handle this time. The last couple have been some adventures out here. Here's a good snap to him, and big rush right up the middle. Don't know if he got a hand on it or not for Morris. Yeah. That one hits at the 50, goes across to the 49-yard line. So Morris going to get excellent field position.
But they did get
at the 49.
They did get a hand on it, so if he had been run into, there would have been no penalty because he did get a hand on it. But Morris, once again, now has 51 yards to go, and this defense for the Comets has been pretty stingy. Once we let them get inside the 20-yard line, we've been pretty tough on them, and if we can hold them again now with the clock at 9:35 in the 4th quarter, the score, you people at home, Mayville State 20, Minnesota Morris, still no score.
Collins going in motion from right to left. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Karshnick back to pass, 3-step drop, and that one is knocked down. Lenora Story came through, got a hand on it, and knocked that one down. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 now for Morris.
What a great football game Lenora Story has played. Just a sophomore. His brother also a sophomore. Those 2 kids, if we can keep them in our program. Oh, they're not brothers.
No.
Okay, what are they? Just last name?
Last name Story.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's not like the Gremmels clan around here.
Sorry about that. It's spelled the same.
Yeah, no, I think one's from Georgia. That was Lenoris there, who's from Georgia.
Okay,
and
sorry.
Preston is from Ogden, Utah.
Well,
back to pass. Here's the draw play. And, a couple side steps there. He's got a 1st down and more down to the 39-yard line of Mayville State. What a nice run there by Blaine Steffen. Shift, jumped right, jumped left, avoided a couple tackles, and came up with a nice 1st down.
Okay, I'm trying to find out who made the tackle that time. Oh, it's number 6 out there. That's Louis Rodriguez made the tackle. Sometimes, as we found out last week at Northern, it's hard to read these numbers because the shirts get tucked up inside, but that was Rodriguez making the tackle. Here goes Morris again.
Kind of helps we're a lot closer to the field this week, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Last week we were way up.
Fun. Yeah, pass swung out to the left. That was intended out there for Stoic and goes incomplete.
However, that football field we were at last weekend was absolutely awesome. You have to agree to that. Even though we were a little bit higher up, it was really a Beautiful football field, carved out of a cornfield with a fantastic track around it. Brian Curtis has indicated Minnesota Morris is going to have a new football field here in the next couple of years. And Brian Curtis is donating, I guess, $250,000 to the construction of that field.
Very impressive. The Collins now goes in motion to the right. Handoff, that's Steffen, and he's going to be taken down in the backfield. That's Johnny Stillwell coming through. Drops him for a 5-yard loss back to the 45-yard line. Great job by Stillwell to fire through and then make sure that Steffen wasn't going to get away from him.
Stillwell's had a staunch game for the Comets. There's going to be a lot of guys going to get some recognition defensively for the Comets this week as we've really stood up and made some big plays. Great defensive output by the Comets offensively. I don't know, from the first quarter on, we just sputtered and haven't been able to put any points on after putting 20 up in the first.
3 receivers to the left side, 1 to the right. Tailback in there, Steffen. Then, let's see, a lateral out there to the 40, spins to the 30, spins away to the 20. He's got a shot to get to the end zone. 15, cuts inside someone else. 5, touchdown, Morris. Making the reception there was Fragout. That was the play similar to one where he threw a pass earlier in the ball game, where he just takes a couple steps back, took it out in the left flat, and just shot through. But, yeah, there was about 4 or 5 guys he sidestepped, Chuck.
Well, and he made some spins that were unbelievable and just spun out of a few tackles. There was some case of some missed tackles, but some really good fancy moves by the scorer. That was a great play by the Cougars, just what they needed. 8 minutes to go in the 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and the Morris Cougars get on the board with a big play. It's 20-6, and now we'll get the extra point. There's a Comet.
Okay.
I believe that's Rodriguez down there on the football field that reached out and missed the tackle on the spin, and he's right now being attended to by Tim O'Brien and also by the trainers from Minnesota Morris.
Yeah. Well, with the timeout on the field, let's take a break ourselves. Our score, Mayville State University 20, University of Minnesota Morris 6, 8:05 remaining here in the ball game. Let's take a 1-minute timeout here on KMAV Radio. All right, well, we still have a timeout on the field as the training staff now getting Louis Rodriguez up. And he's a little wobbly, but walking off pretty much under his own power. Almost looked like the way that they were treating him, Chuck, that either got the wind knocked out of him or maybe got the bell rung. Oh,
he just went down again. He was walking across the field with Tim O'Brien, and he just dropped like a rock. So he must have just absolutely passed out. This is something you certainly don't hope is going to happen, but he went down like a rock, and now we're going to bring the ambulance crew out because he's not moving right now. And so this is a scary part of the football game. Everybody's concerned from both sides. I mean, Minnesota Morris's kids as well as ours. Really didn't see what happened. I thought he reached out and missed the tackle. And
it's tough to know if, it might be getting a little warm outside, too. You don't know about that. You also don't know if he might have spun into one of his own guys.
That's true.
With the player down on the field here, we are just going to take a 2-minute timeout. We'll send it back to KMAV. Again, the Comets are leading 20-6 over University of Minnesota to Morris. There's 8:05 remaining in the game. Morris just scored on a 45-yard touchdown run, a beautiful run out there by the freshman Matt Fragout, and for the first score of the day by Morris. So with the Comets up 20-6, we're going to take a actually, let's make it a 3-minute timeout here on KMAV Radio. On the pass play, basically, it's just a quick pitch out to the left side. The receiver took a couple steps back, and Rodriguez on his way to come over and make the tackle, according to our coaching staff up here in the box, took a blindside hit, and he got up once, fell to the ground, so I'm sure he's just a little woozy. From what the coaches are saying, it looked like he took a pretty big shot out there.
I think they might be going to bring the ambulance in. I'm not too sure, but it appears that they've opened the gate down there anyway for it to come out, I guess, if they do need it. A lot of people attending out there, including a doctor, apparently from Morris, who is taking a look at Lewis, and this throws a gloomy kind of a feeling into the whole football game by both sides. Cougars and the Comets, both teams have left the football field now, are on the sidelines.
Yeah,
and
right.
it just kind of, in what was a game going along smoothly, particularly for Mayville State, who's lost so many games in a row, and looking fortunately like we could end this losing streak. Now we have one of our best football players not only down out there, but also Morris is in the end zone, which is the less of the problems we have in right now. And
so right now it looks like he's Rodriguez, a junior from Huntington Park, California, is he's got good attention. The EMT crew came out right away. Tim O'Brien from Mayville State, the athletic trainers, probably one of the best athletic trainers I think you're going to find, and was out there right away. But now we've got the EMTs, we've got the like we said, a physician on call here and everything too. So Louis getting the best care he possibly can, out here right now.
And he is moving, so everybody must understand that he's obviously conscious because his legs are moving, and now they're looking. See, one of the trainers are looking at his helmet to see if possibly there's some damage to the helmet from a blow, because apparently he's got a hit to the head in this whole incident. And boy, when he was walking across the football field in the hands of Tim O'Brien, he dropped like a rock. I mean, he went right down. Tim couldn't catch him or anything. So
yeah, and he's a pretty tough football player. Like I said, he looked like he was injured a little bit earlier during the Comets goal line stand, but tried to stay in the game, had to come out, and now did come back out the next possible series, and just been a pretty hard-nosed player. Has made some nice tackles for Mayville State, came through, forced the quarterback out of the pocket a few times, but now at this point, once he gets up and everything is good, trying to get the Comets back on the field might be trying to get that energy level back up. I've got to think it's going to be tough, Chuck.
I agree 100% there. This is a momentum problem now. A whole bunch of Comet players are going to come out to, apparently they're not going to bring the ambulance. They're going to have the Comet players carry him off the field. I'm not just too sure what's going on now, but obviously some football players from Mayville State have come out on the football field.
Yeah.
And Rodriguez is sitting up now.
Yeah, when it was interesting as Coach Kelly Jeffrey was out there and indicated he needed a couple players to come on out and help Louis off the field. Looked like about 10 hopped up right away and started sprinting out there. So, there's a lot of concern out there for their teammate at this point.
Kelly,
and he is sitting up. They've got an oxygen mask on him, so it's helping him breathe, probably helping him calm down a little bit.
And obviously with Kelly going off the field as he did, there must be some good things happening, because Kelly would have stayed with him had there been some immediate danger. And yet now that they have him sitting up, they're taking some more movement towards the ambulance again.
Yeah, at this point, there's not like we have to be anywhere. So, we'll just they'll just take the time, make sure they do whatever they need to do to take care of him. But he look like he's answering questions. The EMT in front of him is, or doctor, not sure which, is asking him some questions. He's nodded yes, he's nodded no. So he's got some coherency to him and everything. So that's looking good. But they're just going to give him time. Now they're going to
help him off
back
the field
up again. Yep. So if we find out anything, we'll let you know. They're actually almost like he was probably hyperventilating maybe a little bit there too. So it's again, looks like he's talking. He's answering questions. They've got him at it, answering yes and no. We assume he's answering correctly. And now they're just going to walk him over to the sideline, it looks like.
So that's a very good sign. Walking off the field on his own, he's getting a great applause from the crowd, and also applause from the Morris players. And so we're going to go now with the extra point. And to get back to the football game, we got 8 minutes left to go in this game, 20 to 6 or 7. It's going to be here in a minute.
Yeah, not exactly sure what kind of delay we had. Must have been almost 15 minutes, I think, in our delay here on the game. But, yeah, they're just going to take them to the sideline, put them on the bench over there, and that's much better than seeing them put into the ambulance. So we're happy to see them over on the sideline there.
Ricky Arterberry, number 3, is going to kick the extra point for Minnesota Morris, and it could be a crucial extra point since the Comets missed one earlier. These extra points could be crucial. The kick is blocked.
High. It is blocked by Rideau.
It can be returned.
It is loose. You can't return these for 2 points, but it's just a scrum down there, and don't know if it's who it's recovered by, but one way or the other. That was DeMarcus Rideau coming through the middle, blocked that punt, put it right in the breadbasket, and made sure they were not going to tack on the extra point. That makes it a 14-point difference. Comets lead 20-6. 8:05 remaining in our ball game with Mayville State on top. Let's send it back to KMAV for a 30-second timeout. All right, welcome back to Mayville State football here on KMAV Radio. Yeah, 8:05 remaining in the ball game. The Comets lead 20-6 over the homestanding Cougars of the University of Minnesota Morris. But Mayville State had a 20-point lead. It's dropped to 14 now. But DeMarcus Rideau came through, blocked that extra point, and now the Comets are looking to get the ball back and hopefully get a few points up on the board. DeMarcus Rideau, the only player back there, has to pick it up at the 5, and now he's got to drop down. Mayville State anticipating an onside kick, basically had 10 players in 2 rows back at about the 50 and the 40. That left Rideau all alone back there. He was in the middle of the field. They kicked it to the left sideline. Long way to go when you're the only return man back there. And by the time he caught up there, the only thing he could really do was sit on it.
And he was waiting for it to go out of bounds, which you've given us the football up on the 35 or 40-yard line. Instead, it just dies in bounds on the 5-yard line. So the Comets are in a hole here.
Yeah, doesn't anyone cut the grass here? This should be a lot more like the putting green out there, I would think. But instead, the long grass out there that we're finding, quick-growing grass,
Morris's
drops the ball in bounds.
Morris's new football field will be a turf football field, and on a turf field, that would have gone out of bounds very quickly. This way, it just died. Well,
I formation for Mayville State. Barrett Herr at tailback. Hand off to Herr. He follows Danzel, and we've got a flag thrown at about the 5-yard line. Herr did pound it out over the 10-yard line out to the 11. But looks like that's your traditional holding area, which is the indication from the official.
Well, that's half the distance to goal line, so we're going to go down to about the 1.5-yard line now. And the Comets are right now just letting Morris back into the football game, which is something we've been guilty of doing the past few years. Holding against the Comets on that play. That'll be half the distance. And somehow we've got to get out of this rut that we're in down by the goal line.
First and 10, or first and 13 now for Mayville State, back at the 3-yard line. Again, I formation for the Comets. Behind Williamson, Danzel at fullback. That's Barrett Herr, the sophomore from Wishick, a tailback. Hand off to Barrett Herr, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage. He might have even lost a yard. They're going to move him back to the 2-yard line. So now we have a 2nd down and 14 to go. Again, the Comets just not able to get anything gelling in terms of that. In terms of their running game, their defensive line not very big compared to our mammoth offensive linemen, but they are quick and they are getting to the gaps and getting by our linemen. And, boy, the Comets running backs just have not had many opportunities to hit the line without being touched.
Scott Ryland, who must be just an outstanding football player, came up and really made the lick on the running back and prevented any kind of penetration. Big play here.
One receiver right, one to the left. That's Godfrey on the left, Williams on the right. Lone person in the backfield is Herr. Swing pass to Schaefer. He's got it at the 10. Out to the 15-yard line. He's going to be close to a first down.
Wow, is that a big offensive play? A great connection between the quarterback, Jared Williamson, and Schaefer. And the way they're marking it, I think it's maybe going to be a foot short.
Shy. So that's going to be about a 12-yard gain on that play.
It's going to be third and very short. Gain. Now, we haven't done very well on these 3rd and shorts, so we can't take anything for granted here. I think Jared would probably be better off just sneaking this rather than even handing off, but we'll see. We need 1 foot.
I'm thinking we just throw it. Hand off to the fullback. That's Danzel, and now a good push up front by the offensive line. McDaniel over there, Picard at center, moving these guys forward. Also in there was Andy Alt. Alt 75 has played quite a bit in this ball game. Didn't expect to see that happen. So for the Comets, good job just moving that ball forward.
A good job of keeping the clock moving. Now we need to call 3 more running plays. unless, of course, we get into a position where we need maybe 6 or 7 yards, but we need to keep this clock going because by the time Morris gets it back, it'll probably be under 5 minutes to go in the football game, and they still need 2 scores.
Williams split out wide right. Andrade in the slot on the right side. Rolling out to the right is Williamson. He's got Williams underneath at the 25.
Stay in bounds.
Takes it out to the 30-yard line. That should be enough for a first down.
That was a very safe pass. That was a rollout pass by Williamson, and he had the option to either run or throw. And the man in the flat was wide open, Brian, number 1, and we threw the ball to Williams, and
he made a sure-handed catch there, made sure he had it, then he turned upfield. So gain of, 10 on that one, and Mayville State's going to have first and 10 now, just shy of their 30-yard line.
That was a win-win call because Jared could have turned the ball up the field and kept the clock moving and picked up a few yards, or he could have gone for the first down. He had a multiple choice. He took the right choice, first down, Comets.
Offset I formation, 2 receivers to the right, hand off to the second back through, that's her. And again, he's going to get stacked up at the 31-yard line. Give him a gain of 1 on that play, brings up second down and 9 to go.
Scott Ryland again making his 55th tackle of the game. He's just been all over the football field, really comes up as the defensive captain, making some great plays. And with the running play there, obviously the clock is running, and I'm sure Coach Kelly is saying, Jared, use the time, use the delay clock. It's 16, 15, 14, and you probably won't see the ball snapped until we get under 5. Got to use the clock to our advantage as we go under 5 minutes now.
Okay, second down and 8. Ball is across the 31, so we'll say it's 32. Williamson rolling out right, throws downfield, intended out there for Andrade. We've got a flag back behind the line of scrimmage. Again, normally in that holding type area, you would think. And tried to get it out there to Andrade, but basically threw away. Now, the offensive line for Mayville State and the tight end is cheering, so that might actually be a good sign. We'll see. And we have a personal foul face mask against Minnesota Morris. So, wow, big play there for Mayville State. Gibson going forward on a play that really that comes after off an incomplete pass.
4:48 to go. That might be the coup d'etat right there for Minnesota Morris because the Comets are going to get 15 yards tacked on and put the ball down on the 46-yard line. They're going to have a first down and a lot of time to consume off the clock now if Kelly uses it right. I don't know if we need to be throwing bombs right now. I think we should be handing off to the fullback and sending them up the middle and using that clock and forcing Morris probably to use their timeouts.
Goulet back in the backfield now for Mayville State, lining up behind Danzel. 1 receiver left, 1 receiver right. Handoff, and he's got a little gap. That's Goulet, but it quickly closes down. Goulet gets across to about the 48-yard line. It looked like he had a shot to fire through there, but quickly those defenders for Morris closed.
Travis Ditash came over and made the tackle. As you said, it looked like he had some running room there and some daylight, but it was closed quickly, prevented it from being a big gain. As it is, it's a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8. More importantly, for the Comets, the clock is running.
Offset I for Mayville State. Schaefer, the tight end, lined up on the right. 1 receiver lined up on the left side. Handoff. That's Goulet, and he's not even going to get back to the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose about half a yard on this one. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 8 to go for Mayville State. Long way to go for the Comets.
And yet, conservative play calling right now is the order of the day. We just can't get fancy right now. We just have to do what we're doing. If we have to punt on 4th down, so be it. But let's use the clock. Jared's going to watch that delay clock get down under 5 again, I'm sure. And then by then we'll be probably at about the 3:20 mark.
Comets have all 3 timeouts remaining in the second half here. Haven't used any in the first half. They used them all in the first quarter this time. They've not had to use any. Offset I formation, 2 tight ends, or 2 receivers left and right. Skrender's intercepted. Read perfectly by the Minnesota Morris player. He steps inside. Let's see, who was that, 14?
That's Sean Gremmels.
Sean Gremmels steps in front of the intended receiver there, and that's the first interception thrown today. And there's 3 minutes, 20 seconds left in this ball game. Morris needs 2 touchdowns, though, to get back and tie this one up.
I absolutely do not understand that play. We're using the clock is moving, and we throw a pass, and it's picked off by Sean Gremmels, big play maker. And now Morris has still got some daylight here with 3:20 to go in the football game.
Comets had completed 4 of those, so Morris had a chance to see that one several times today. I formation. Back to pass. Throws down the right sideline. In the center, in the seam.
Touchdown.
Whoa. Down to the 5-yard line. Again, making that reception there in kind of a post pattern was Matt Fragout, who had the 45-yard touchdown earlier in this ball game, and he just got a little separation from the quarterback Roland as soon as he busted inside. No safety help coming over the top, and that's a big gain there for Morris, and boy, this is going to come right down to the nub.
It's the shades of last year's football game as Morris marches down to the goal line. One bad play over there by the Comets, that's all it takes. Doesn't take many.
Tight end on the right side. Steffens in the backfield and throw over the middle, and we're going to have a pass interference against Mayville State. Let's see, I think
32.
Michael Jordan, I think, had the coverage on Mahoney.
Yeah,
Mahoney just tried to break it into the inside, and Jordan had his hands all over him. He knocked it down with one hand, but unfortunately with the other hand, I think he had a little too much jersey.
Well,
and that's going to be a first down.
Half the distance to the goal line, puts it down at about the 2 or maybe 3. It's going to be first down. Morris is knocking on the door again. Then you're going to see an onside kick. And this game is up in the air, as everyone has been in the last 3 years. We're doing it again. It's just a matter of, come on, defense.
Still up by 2, Chuck. Still up by 2. Here we go. I formation. Actually, full house backfield. Quarterback keeps it, and he is just shy of the end zone, it looks like. Boy, quick snap there. The quarterback just shot right through there, Chuck. I thought he was going to dive in from 2 yards out, but instead he's about an inch or 2 short.
Everybody signaled touchdown, but the officials, and the good thing about this is that, in fact, well, now Minnesota Morris calls a timeout.
Yep. We have a timeout on the field. With the timeout on the field, we're going to send it back to KMAV Radio with Mayville State leading 20-6. Let's send it to KMAV for a 30-second timeout. All right, now this is fun. Mayville State has a 20-6 lead, 2:40 remaining in the ball game. However, Morris is about, let's see, the official put his foot down between the ball and the goal line, so it's got about 4 to 5 inches from the end zone, and Morris is right back in this one if they're able to convert. However, Mayville State has held them out at least once in this type of situation, I thought, today, or has done very well at when they've had to. So Morris coming up, full house backfield, 2 fullbacks, 1 tailback. That's Steffes in the backfield. Hand off to the second back through. That's Steffes. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage. Several Comets in there. Jordan was in there.
Mike Latorno was in there.
And good job by the defensive front there for Mayville State. Lenore Story coming up off the bottom of the pile. I think he's probably one of the guys that stuffed it up along with Preston Doctor.
Loss on
that play. Loss back to the 2-yard line. Almost a 2-yard loss on that.
More important than that, Brian, the clock is running, and they're not in the end zone yet.
Third down, goal to go from just outside the 2-yard line. Hand off to the fullback. He's still driving his feet, and he is going to be short. They are marking him short back to about the line of scrimmage a couple plays ago. He is down, and several Comets down there. Carson Story, of course, is one of the guys getting up off the pile there, along with, 48 also for Mayville State. Who is David Dick. So several Comets plugging it up there. We've got another timeout taken by Morris. That's the second one that Morris has used. 1:51 remaining in the ball game. We've got a 4th down, 1 to go, and a timeout on the field. We'll just keep it here as this is getting interesting, that's for sure.
That was a plus.
What a great job by the defense.
Yeah, the plus is that not only have we held them, not only has time gone off the clock, but they've had to use their timeouts, which they could have preserved, for their last possession. So this has been a great defensive stand. I only saw 3 white shirts standing after the last play, which means you're trying to pick out who was making the tackle. I saw 8 white jerseys down, so we really stacked that play up good. This is a 4th down play, and it's a yard to go, and it's going to be an interesting call on Morris's part.
Yep, the only thing at this point we're looking at is hopefully that some of the Comet players don't become too hyper-aggressive and try and fly to the ball, because that would leave them susceptible to something, misdirection or something to the outside. We'll see how the Comets do right now when they've been in these situations, though. They've done a great job putting the clamps on the Morris offense. We'll see if they can keep the Cougars out of the end zone here and preserve what would be the first victory for Mayville State after 20 straight defeats. So let's see. This team hopefully has shown us that they know how to win. We'd like to see it start right now. Full house backfield. 2 fullbacks, 1 tailback. That's Steffes. Hand off to Steffes. He's hit behind the line.
He did not make it.
That is number 42 for Mayville State, Mike Letourneau, firing in from the linebacker's position, dropping him for about a 2-yard loss. Mayville State's defense stems the tide here. 1:47 remains in the ball game. Mayville State up by 14.
Holy cow, was that ever a defensive stand. Letourneau, what a fantastic burst of speed in the middle to stop that. They're in a full backfield. They got certainly a great opportunity to score there, and the Comets, Jody Ford's defense just made a great stand. Now with 1:47 left to go, we need to see quarterback sneaks. Thank you.
Steffes did not have a chance to do anything on that play. Pretty much as soon as he got it, did not have time to make any moves. Williamson in the ball game. I formation behind him. Receivers left and right. Williamson just takes the ball, falls forward.
It's exactly what you're supposed to do. Quarterback sneak. That's all we have to do.
Second and about 10 now. 1:37. Clock ticking. Mayville State, the 25-second clock now just starts with 1:32.
So there's 1 timeout left for Morris?
1 timeout left for Morris. I would think that they'll probably use it after the probably after the 3rd down play.
Make sure we get a good exchange here between the center and the quarterback and fall forward, Jared. That's all you have to do, my friend. Just get the good snap. Wait for the clock to get down there. That a boy.
Danzel and Goulet in the backfield. Handoff, or it just Williamson keeps the ball, takes it himself, goes to the ground. Again, pretty much no gain. 1:01 remaining in the ball game.
Under a minute.
3rd down, 10 to go. Play clock has not started yet. Comets, it's going to start right now. This might be the last play that Mayville State's going to have to run. They hopefully can run a few extra seconds off. They just need a play to run about 4 or 5 seconds, although they still is a timeout. So
Morris will have a timeout, so they'll force us to punt.
But pretty much at this point, things look awfully darn good for the Comets as Morris needs 2 touchdowns at this point in the ball game. Williamson takes the snap, goes to the ground.
Morris calls a timeout.
An inch or 2. And, we now have a timeout on the field. Okay. And indicate that Morris takes the timeout. 27 seconds left. 4th down.
Now
9 to go for Mayville State.
Now you take a safety. You take a safety without any foolery. You just take a safety, Coach, and then we'll kick the ball off to them, and they can't beat us. We don't want to get a punt block here right now. You snap the ball and you take a safety, and there's no other questions to be done here. Then we get a free kick from the 20-yard line, and they got to score 2 times, and it isn't going to happen. So right now, I'm making the call. We take a safety.
And what the Comets are actually doing is they are sending their quarterback out there. We'll see we'll see exactly what they have in mind here.
You use your punter here because they could send the whole house against it, get it blocked, get a touchdown.
Yeah, of course he wouldn't be kicking it anyway, so if he did snap it to the punter, he basically takes it through the end zone. But, yeah, better to have, if you're going to do anything, better to have it in the hands of Williamson, who is used to holding the ball and taking hits and everything. So Williamson goes under center. He drops back to pass, and he's going to run out of the end zone. He's going to sit back there as long as he possibly can. And here finally a little bit of pressure. So with 21 seconds, Mayville State can take the safety.
That's
2 more points here for UMC. Makes the score 20-8. Comets lead by 12. 21 seconds remaining in the ball game. Mayville State will have a free kick now from about the 25-yard line, 20-yard line, somewhere in there. 20-yard
line. They get a free kick. That means they can punt, they can kick it off, they can do whatever. But the coaching staff had their thinking caps on today because we don't want to get a punt blocked in the end zone and have them fall on it or anything like that, and then they get an onside kick, nothing like that.
Yep. Comets should have a choice. They can either punt it or do a regular kickoff. It looks like the Comets will punt it. And the way Stevens booms the ball, that's probably a good decision. That's for sure. Although he does have to go into a little bit of a sideways wind. Kind of a crosswind here is what he's booting the ball into.
Morris has the option here of fair catching this, too. So whether it's a kickoff or a punt, they can fair catch it, which means the clock won't start, and then they will have the scrimmage. So we'll see what they do.
All right, again, 21 seconds left in the ball game. Cougars set up for a kick return. We're going to see what, let's see, Adam Turgeon is their deep person. High kick. Turgeon's going to take it at his 34-yard line. Turns it upfield to the 40, to the 45, and he's going to be dropped at about the 47-yard line. One of the Comets down there to make the tackle was John Mozinski, and 16 seconds remains in the ball game. Life looks pretty good for the Comets, Chuck, but...
What, excuse me?
Life looks pretty good for the Comets.
Yeah, Odie, I was just daydreaming here thinking we're going to win this football game, and I'm just so glad for the coaches, for the players, for everybody that's involved in the program. These are kids that deserve this, and it could be a stepping stone. Watch out, Mary, next week. Our kids did some really good things today, and we're going to win our first football game and get us off the schneid. And
shotgun formation, quarterback drops back to pass. Story forces him out of the pocket. Another person forces him the other way. Now he's just going to run with the ball across the 50, picking up some stats, and that's about it. Gets it out to about the 38-yard line of Mayville State. Nice run there by Karshnick. 5 seconds left in the ball game. Basically hurt the Comets' defensive numbers, but that's all right as long as they don't get on the scoreboard here again.
That's right, and the Comets have this one in hand. The 20-game losing streak is over. ESPN won't be visiting us to stretch our losing streak. We're going to have a victory under our belts and be a good stepping stone into the rest of the season. Once again, we'll have a good film to look at, to study, to make us even better for next week.
And it looks like this is a group that can continue to improve, too, that's for sure. So
I agree. That's
it's going to be fun to see what happens the rest of the year. All 4 receivers to the left side. Quarterback drops back to pass. He hits the lone receiver on the other side into the middle of the field. Whoa, spins out of one tackle. He's inside the 20, inside the 15, down to a 14, and that is it. The Comets, the streak is over. Mayville State wins the ball game today, 20-8 over the University of Minnesota Morris. Mayville State first home win in, boy, an awful long time. It is exciting to see that, Chuck. That is just tremendous. So the Comets pick up their first win. Again, as we mentioned, it's been a while. And Mayville State, the last team they beat was Minnesota Morris in the season opener in 2003. Mayville State this time comes through and does bad things to Morris in Morris's season opener here in 2005. Must be the odd year thing. But the Comets come through with a win today, 20-8. Mayville State scored all 20 points in the first quarter, gave up late touchdown, or touchdown midway through the fourth quarter to Morris, and then took a safety at the end just to play things safe. A great goal line stand prevented Morris from making this game even closer. And so Mayville State, again, comes up with a huge victory here, 20-8, and gets off that so-called schneid. Let's send it back to KMAV for a 2-minute timeout. We'll come back and do a recap of the scoring, give you some stats, and a couple final observations. But once again, Mayville State 20, University of Minnesota Morris 8. Let's take a 2-minute timeout here on KMAV Radio. The Comets begin a new streak today of their own as they come up with their first win of the 2005 season, defeating the University of Minnesota Morris by a score of 20-8. Comets took control in the first quarter, scored 20 unanswered points. Morris finally got on the board late or midway through the fourth quarter, added a safety at the end of the game, and Mayville State, the goal line stand to clean things up here at the end of the ball game, and Mayville State gets on top, wins the ball game. An excellent outing, particularly by this Comet defense that last week gave up 60. Today basically gives up 6 points. We'll give that 2-point safety to the offense here. But a great turnaround by the Comets on defense. Offensively, Mayville State, especially in the first half, just a tremendous passing attack here by the Comets today as they come up with a 20-8 victory over Minnesota Morris. Let's see. Let's just recap the scoring here really quick. We'll get Coach Gremmels back here in a few minutes and do a quick recap of the game and our thoughts and views of the game. But let's recap the scoring first. Mayville State, all 20 of their points came in the first quarter. Opening drive of the ball game, Mayville State marched 75 yards in 5 plays, took 2 minutes, 6 seconds. When Greg Godfrey took a 64-yard pass from Jared Williamson on a post, took it to the house for a touchdown, put Mayville State up 7-0 when Matt Buckaloo, extra point was good. And on that drive, one thing that keyed it, a 4th down and 1 play from basically Mayville State's own 33 or 35-yard line. Mayville State needed a yard to get the first down. They went for it in a dangerous position and came up big. Next play, they hit Godfrey on the post. Next drive, Mayville State had to go 37 yards on 6 plays after, I think, a turnover there by by Minnesota Morris. Goulet took a pitch to the left side, outside and in, ran it into the left corner of the end zone. Matt Buckaloo added on the extra point. That made our score 14-0. Then Mayville State, after Morris failed on a fake punt at midfield, Mayville State took it over at the 50. 9 plays later, Greg Godfrey made a diving catch in the left corner of the end zone on a pass from Jared Williamson. The extra point failed after a snap was off, and Mayville State led after one quarter 20-0. Second quarter remained scoreless. Third quarter remained scoreless. And then finally, Morris broke through, really started making this game interesting when Matt Fragote caught a 46-yard touchdown pass from Karshnick. And actually, Fragote actually had a run about 48 yards plus all the distance left and right, as he must have made a couple spin moves, probably broke about 3-4 tackles on just an impressive run on a pass reception behind the line of scrimmage. That was a 5-play, 51-yard drive with 8:05 remaining in the fourth quarter. And Morris did tack a safety on with 21 seconds left. Mayville State, though, took that safety after Morris had intercepted a pass, returned it to about the 40 or 35-yard line of Mayville State. They drove down to inside the 1-yard line. The official's foot could barely fit between the edge of the football and the goal line, but Mayville State forced Morris back 4 and out at the goal line. Mike Letourneau made the final play on that one to keep Morris out of the end zone. Great defensive stand there by Mayville State. If Morris would have got in, would have made the score 20-14, and Morris still would have had 2.5 minutes left. Instead, Mayville State stems the tide, ends up taking a safety there when they couldn't make a first down, and closes the game out with a 20-8 win. Let's look at the stats here, final stats. First, let's take a look at the team stats for Morris. Morris had 19 first downs. Morris's offense really evened things up here in the second half, and actually they ended up outgaining Mayville State in this ball game. Mayville State had a huge edge early on, but Morris's offense kept chipping away, and their passing game came up with a few big plays there to actually outgain Mayville State by the end of the game. 19 first downs for Morris, rushing 97 yards on 36 carries, 283 yards passing. They ran 70 plays for 380 yards. Let's see. Morris, though, turnovers, not a good thing for Morris. They had 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions. They lost 2 fumbles out of the 4 that they dropped, and they took 6 penalties for 64 yards. Team stats for Mayville State, 19 first downs for the Comets. Tough day on the ground for Mayville State, 43 rushing attempts for 58 yards. But through the air, 37 attempts, Mayville State passed for 306 yards. So total offense for Mayville State, they ran 80 plays for 364 yards. Let's see. Penalties, Mayville State, 11 penalties for 62 yards. A lot of penalties. Thankfully, most of them were of the short yardage variety. But no fumbles. Mayville State didn't fumble the ball once, so they didn't lose it. So just 1 turnover. So Mayville State wins the turnover battle 4-1. Let's see, individual numbers. Let's take a look at Morris first. Rushing, Jordan Rollman, who ended up having to look like he was on the sideline later in the ballgame, led Morris in rushing, 49 yards and 14 carries, including a long of 26 yards. The quarterback, Jeff Karshnick, 12 carries for 43 yards, including an 18-yard run. Blaine Steffen, 6 carries for 7 yards, including an 11-yarder. And Trevor Copeland, 1 carry for 1 yard. Passing, Karshnick, 16 out of 33 for 283 yards and 1 touchdown. That was a 46-yarder. Yeah, and Karshnick, after struggling early, really came alive in the second half, picked up a lot of passing yards, was able to find some receivers who broke some big plays. Matt Frago, the most impressive run of the day, was that 46-yard touchdown catch. He had 5 receptions for 98 yards. Patrick Mahoney, 5 for 57. Ryan Stoic, 3 for 91. And Patrick Collins, 2 for 23 yards. Their punter, Marcus Pavers, averaged 39.8 yards per punt. And those are the main key stats there for Morris. Meanwhile, for Mayville State, Nick Goulet, the leading ground gainer for the Comets, 18 carries for 35 yards, including 1 touchdown and a long run of 12 yards. Jared Williamson, effective on the ground, 11 carries for 24 yards, including a long of 20. Barrett Herb, 7 carries for 16 yards. and Dennis Danzel, 1 carry for 2 yards. Passing, Jared Williamson, 22 out of 37, 1 interception, 2 touchdowns for 306 yards. So Jared, one of his best passing games in his career. Individual receiving, probably going to be our offensive player of the week, Greg Godfrey, 8 catches for 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's been a long time since any Comet has had that many receiving yards in a ball game. Mitch Andrade, 5 catches for 32 yards. Nick DeLay, 4 for 31. And Jeff Schaefer, 3 catches for 66 yards, including a long of 30 on a spectacular one-handed catch down the middle of the field. Robert Stevens, nice job punting the ball today. 6 punts for a 40.2 yard average, including a long of 49 yards. But probably more impressively, 2 out of those 6 punts were down inside the 20-yard line. And let's see, that really is pretty much it for the statistics here today for Mayville State. But overall, just a great effort offensively and defensively for the Comets. First quarter, the offense for Mayville State basically carried the show. The last 3 quarters, though, Chuck, it was really the defense, I think, that stepped up and took care of this ball game for the Comets.
Boy, especially that last goal line stance, some great plays by some defensive players, especially the last play by Mike Latorno coming in there and preventing the touchdown. And who knows what would have happened had they scored on that play. There would have probably been an onside kick, and we'd had all kinds of mayhem here. But I just came off the football field. I wanted to check on Louis Rodriguez for those people out there. We stopped the game for 15 minutes, you indicated, because of his injury. I talked to Louis, and he's fine. He just had a head rush. He got up too fast, and as he walked across the field, a head rush hit him, and he absolutely passed out. And, of course, they took all precautions as they always do. And a lot of elation out there by a lot of kids who have. Jared Williamson is so happy. There's a kid that's quarterbacked a lot of losses, 20 in a row, in fact, and today he gets on the winning side of it. The coaches are just excited. I think you said something really good, too, and that is I think we can get better. I mean, I think as much as we won this game and broke the streak, I think these are kids that can, as you indicated, get better by, each game. And so I think we have that to look forward to. I'm so impressed by our cornerbacks and our free safeties. I think we're going to be able to cover most of our Dakota Athletic Conference rivals from the receiving standpoint. And Jared, Greg Godfrey's not going to sneak up on anybody anymore. That's going to be obvious because everybody's going to get the films, and they'll double team him like they did Stefan Schreibeis, those receivers we've had in the past.
Yeah, except one thing that Godfrey brings that we have not had is speed.
Extreme speed.
When Curtis Shaw was here, very good receiver, very good speed, but not the blazer that Godfrey is. Same thing with Eric Anderson before him.
Yeah,
Eric Anderson and Shaw have been our last 2 real superstar receivers. And this kid has a chance to do the same kind of thing.
And Schaefer showed some really, as you indicated, the reason why he's one of the best tight ends in the offensive line certainly has to shore up. I talked to Jimmy. He said they made a lot of mistakes and they've got a lot of things to do. I said, how would you rate him? He says, we played average and we're just going to have to get better. So, but Kelly right now, coach, is out there with Derek Schleve's football team and maybe doing a little recruiting, and because there's some big kids out there. But a good football game. It was fun doing it with you again, Brian. I had a thought when I talked to you, yesterday or the day before, that this was a game we could win if we played decent and all, and we did. And so it's a victory for the Comets, and it'll be fun going into the bowl game next week, 1-1.
Yeah, and whatever happens the rest of the season, whether the Comets run the table one way or the other, it's just so nice for these guys to come out, get a win, playing well, and I think that they did some things that they won the game today. I don't think it wasn't handed to them. In the end, they ended up winning this game, especially with that defensive stand at the end of the ball game there. I mean, Morris had started to connect on a few passes, but the guys stiffened when they had to right down there and really just delivered a couple shots. 3 out of those 4 plays there were things the Comet defenders did to stop them once they had that first down at about the 2-yard line.
And, during the game, the first half and second half, there were many times when, Morris was on some kind of a march from the 20 down to the up to the 30, to the 40, the 50, the 40, and our defense would make a play and prevent them from getting any further. So our defense probably gets a game ball. Our offense in the first quarter gets a game ball, obviously, but it's going on the road and winning a football game. I don't care who it is you're playing. You go on the road and you win. That's good. Now we get to come home. We've got 2 of our away games left, done with, and we must have 5 or 6 of our games remaining at home, at least 5 of them.
Yeah, after it's interesting. After next week's home game against Mary, we go back on the road against Tech and Jamestown, and then we're at home for the last 5 weeks.
Wow. See,
with just one trip to Minot. So
that really is good.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, going to Tech, that is a very winnable game with a new coach down there. That should be a very competitive ball game for the Comets. They showed today that they were able to travel and go on the road and overcome some adversity, which is, what happens when you lose, one of your starting defensive players out on the field where he gets knocked out. You don't know what's going on with them. So they ended up having to overcome some adversity there. Jamestown played a very competitive game with Southwest. We're not exactly sure how good they're going to be. They've been lower tier Northern Sun team the last few years. So that game at Jamestown,
winnable.
There's a chance that they've got something that could happen there too. So when they get on the road, it should be interesting the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
But we hope everyone comes out next week. As we've said, Mayville State hosts the University of Mary. Game time is 1:30 p.m. Going to be a blast of a week. Let's see, Thursday night there's a big supper for the athletes hosted by Common Athletic Club, Everyone, I believe, is eligible to come out for that. They do a great job with the food for that. That's a Common Athletic Club event Thursday night. On Saturday, we've got the parade in the morning. Let's see, that probably gets going around 10. I hope I'm right. Otherwise, we'll be talking about it all during the week. After that, it should be the corn feed over at the stadium. Great corn all the time, along with hot dogs and probably some other things too. So that's always fun. Game at 1:30, and then Farmers Bowl auction beginning, I think right around 5 o'clock. They've got some things going. And also, if you go to the Mayville State website, mayvillestate.edu, there is a link on there to all the items that are in the auction. And also there are some online items this year, including something done by someone named Ann Gremmels.
It's a beautiful, beautiful quilt. I'll tell you what, she spent hundreds of hours on that. It's the 5th one she's made in the last 5 years, one each year. And this is the best one she's made and the most time she's put in and the one she's most proud of. They're not really quilts. They are basically wall hangers. I think you can hang them up on your wall. But this one is really beautiful. So, so that'll be up for auction, and it'll just be a fun week, as it always is. And we get to play Mary. I'm not afraid of Mary, and I don't think our kids are. And we always play them really pretty good. And when they come in with the flag next week, I'm going to be on the PA, and I'm going to maybe say something. No, I won't either. But anyway, thanks, Brian, for letting me do the game with you. It was fun, and to get a win is more than fun, and it's just good for all involved. And so we hope all the listeners enjoyed it, and everybody say a prayer for the people down south, and come out to the football game next week.
And we look forward to hearing you on the PA. I think we'll be joining you probably in about 3 weeks when we go to Jamestown.
Yeah, I'll be at Jamestown. Yeah.
But we'll have a good time with getting you back there next week.
Okay, Brian. Thanks
a lot,
and take care, everybody.
And again, final score today: Mayville State University defeats University of Minnesota Morris. Final score 20-8. And again, big streak breaker for Mayville State. This is a streak starter. I'm not going to talk about any other streaks other than it being a streak starter at this point. And so excellent win for the Comets, and hopefully this is going to be a springboard to some other positive things happening the rest of the year. Again, Comets offense came out strong in the first quarter, putting 20 up on the board. Comets defense pretty much held Morris in check throughout the whole game, gave up some yardage throughout the game, but in the end only allowed 6 points on the defense. 2 came on a late safety. So good all-around effort by the Comets. Again, this was a team that did very, very well. Morris, I think, ended up going 5-5 last year, 5-4 in the conference. They did a very nice job overall. Actually, the record was probably a little better than that. So Morris had a nice job last year, and so very solid team. Again, Comets were doing this against a defense that returned 9 players on defense, and just pretty much 1 on offense. So it was a very solid team out there and an excellent performance by Mayville State to get on the win board there. So thanks again thanks a lot for listening. Next week, going to be joined by Bob Birch as we call the home game with Mayville State hosting the University of Mary. Again, game time next week at 1:30. We'll be going on the air here on KMAV at approximately 1:10. Look forward to having you all listening next week, and check out the Mayville State website for the activities going on during the week. Also, KMAV will be talking about the different activities that are happening throughout the week also. Thanks a lot for listening. Thank you to all those sponsors that helped bring this game to you here on KMAV Radio. For Chuck Gremmels, this is Brian Larson signing off. Our final score, once again, Mayville State University 20, University of Minnesota Morris 8.